Good morning, everyone. Futures in positive territory here with the NQ and the ES both in the green as we await the jobless claims and the continued claims with air. Do we have the number?
We do have these numbers. So initial jobless claims here coming in at 232,000. This is above the previous print of 228,000. Consensus of 230,000, forecast of 240,000 there. So again, 232,000 for initial jobless claims. Continuing jobless claims here, a little bit above the previous, much like the initial. We have 1.863 million. So 1.863 million. Previous is 1.859 million, but this 1.863 million here, a little bit below the consensus of 1.87 million and 1.88 million for the forecast. We also got Chicago Fed National Activity Index, a bit lower than expected here, negative 0.34 versus the previous of 0.09 negative, because that's a positive 0.3.
Yeah, the market liking that, guys, already on the way up, possibly into 20,000. The market was already strong to start the day. Lots to talk about in the pre-market, many different names reporting. But let's start off yesterday with the Fed minutes that was released at 2 p.m. Widely reported that most of the members were in consensus for a cut coming in September. We'll have to obviously wait and see about that. Also, overnight, more labor disruptions on this side of the border looking to affect the states as well. Canadian National Railway as well as Canadian Pacific Kansas City on strike. Well, they're not on strike. The 10,000 workers locked out, so that will have economic implications as well. So we'll keep those on tap, guys. Good morning.
Morning. It's already an exciting one. Look, we had, in addition to the minutes, it wasn't even about the minutes, that big revision that you had on that non-farm number, like 800,000 revised down, like 30% on the year, less job growth. And that has the markets thinking we're going to get them hikes. And when I say them, it's maybe you might even get 50 basis points instead of just a quarter. NVIDIA decided, why wait until the open to get to 130? So this has already broken that big 130 level. You can't even see it there. There you go. It's already broken that 130 level here out on NVIDIA, holding right along the line. I think this is going to be spicy. We got NASDAQ 20,000 in play. Snowflake wasn't the best reaction to the earnings, although the numbers weren't all that bad. We have Apple on play today. Tesla trying to break out some big levels as well. And Zoom was up on earnings. And don't sleep on these Mpox stocks either. Still doing a lot of volume. One of the three big ones, I believe it was it Vrax? VRAX had an offering. The others are up, but VRAX is down because they did an offering. Always remember, when you're trading these or holding them or swinging them, you're trading intraday, offerings are less likely to happen. When you're swinging these things intraday or multiple days, understand that they can drop an offering if they've already filed to do so, and then this can end up happening. Good news for the Mpox names, but Vrax is down. The others are all still to the upside.
Yeah, we had SIGA yesterday. I mean, SIGA was a great trade. Yeah, we hit 935 yesterday. Got into the aftermarket up to 1065. That was a great trade. I'm looking at IBIT today, and I actually have on today's sticky note, which is out just now. Go find it. Just tweeted out like a minute ago. We just put on here some ideas for IBIT and Mara. So I just feel like Bitcoin right now hanging out above the 60,000. Go find it at Trader TV, Sean. All free stuff. Now, I mean, of course, now it just breaks through 61,000. But I was sort of looking at these levels up here, 35.20. You're going to see this is a key level for me to break. And if this was a stock, I'd be all over this. It's been going higher. We've been watching Bitcoin. This break right here of the weekly support or resistance would be great. It also matches this gap level. So I'm happy, not even worrying about the price of Bitcoin because IBIT will follow it. So this break of 35.25 is in and around, I guess, 61.5 or so. If we can get up there and try to break that, then I want to be long. I like Bitcoin. I think it can work here. Market's trying to go up. Bitcoin goes up. Market goes up. I like that relationship there. We've seen a nice little push in BTC. I could see this going. And then to match with it, partner in crime as of yesterday, that 1660. Congratulations to my guy Patrick back there. We talked about that yesterday. And then right now, that 1660 was huge. And now it's trying to go back higher. So I like this play if Bitcoin can fall down. And that's what I wrote here. Let's see if we can pick up some Mara in around the 1730, 1725 area. And then I wrote down 17 as ultimate support. You see the 50 period here. and just sort of, it's not necessarily the 50 period, it's just more that it's 17, break higher, hold yesterday in and around the 17 area. So if we have two plays, crypto comes down, let's buy some Mara, crypto goes up, let's break IBIT. So that's what we're looking to do. So all good so far here this morning. But yeah, NVIDIA, I said to Neil and Sharif and the guys, is like, I guess it just takes an upgrade to break this level. We won't get a chance to smash it real time. It's already broke 130, so we've already seen the reaction. But I think the trade will still be here once we open up. So let's wait to see a little bit of a pullback on these job numbers, obviously. So we'll we'll find a support area for NVIDIA. I wrote down 129. Looks like we're going to get there too. So.
Yeah, a great segue, Sean, because got a couple of comments today from analysts, both KeyBank and Rosenblatt chiming in on NVIDIA. And as you can see, it's already moving well in the pre-market, up 1%, was up higher. Here it is. KeyBank maintaining NVIDIA with a coverage of overweight and a price target of $180. No commentary there. But Rosenblatt, outdoing them there with a street high of 200, maintaining it there, their coverage with a buy rating, and again, that $200 price target.
Yeah, I found some commentary on both of these. KeyBank saying that even though we heard this a while ago, there were some concerns about supply chain issues with the Blackwell chip. KeyBank saying that's not going to be a concern. People will just compensate by ordering more Hopper chips. So NVIDIA will be fine in that regard. Rosenblatt, though, with that street high price target, saying that they see NVIDIA beating earnings for this quarter and raising estimates for the next quarter. So very bullish outlook for those earnings, again, coming on Wednesday, August 28th. So less than a week now for those earnings.
Up already over 8% since the split, guys. What's the look?
It's having a good morning, obviously, with the market pulling back a little bit. We're pretty much where we were before, so it's not a crazy move. The Nasdaq about a quarter point here. The only cause for concern, I think, for NVIDIA is kind of the way that it's running into these earnings, but everything has that Black Monday bottom, which makes these rebounds pretty extreme. So you're not at those previous highs. Like the previous high here on a close basis was this 130, 131 area on the week, and then you had a 136 top, and then and then up there at about 140 to 141. So there's room to some of those highs on NVIDIA, but as we're trying to get through about 20,000 on the Nasdaq, 2,000. What year is this? As we're trying to get through some of those highs, I'm inclined to look dip buy, because the breakout, if we'd been sitting here and we were at this price, pulling right back into the previous highs on NVIDIA, my first thought would be, hey, just let it break the 130 level. But now that you've broken it and we've just had an economic number, you need the stock to settle down after that. See what the market wants to do. So you have some pretty obvious, just from a technical point, you have a double top yesterday. That comes in 129.40, and then you got the previous close down here. It's 128.5, though support was at 128. So I think those are the couple of lines in there that any kind of a dip, I'm going to be interested in looking to defend. And I want to go back over to AMD, which, this is trying to do a little bit of a mini breakout on its own, still struggling a bit with the 158 level, and it's a ways away from the high that we saw a couple of days ago, that 162 level. So if it immediately, it's so much more adjacent to the resistance that we just had. If it loses 158, this one could end up being, for me, we just lose 158 and it's a trend down into 155. If it stays an inside day, I kind of like AMD if I'm going to short one, because I think the 58 down to 55 makes some sense. But I'm looking for some dip buys on NVIDIA. That 130 break, I guess it could now happen again at the open, but now that it's come and gone, got to look for those dip buys.
Yeah, so we'd already written down here on today's sticky note. You can go find it at Trader TV. Sean, already 1,000 views. Thank you for all of that. We wrote down 129, upgraded here again today ahead of earnings. Look, I was saying to Obi in the lunchroom there, I was like, do you really want to be short NVIDIA? I don't think any of these brokerages want to be short NVIDIA into next Wednesday. And next Wednesday is only a couple days away now. So if you get a market bump up here over the next few days, this thing will be at 135, 140, which is the high. And when you're getting back to the high right here and you try to break that on earnings, well, if they do have that good report, then you're probably going to see 150 and change. And right now, might as well get ahead of the game. So that's what I feel like is happening. We've seen NVIDIA just absolutely moon off of some of these levels. I was checking the account out again yesterday, and it's like you feel real bad a couple weeks ago wondering, oh my God, it's all over. And then it's 30% higher. Like 30% higher in a week and a half for the largest name out there, like the one with all the attention on it. And you're up 30%, more than 30% in a week and a half. Like, there's so much buyers, there's so many buyers underneath this name that it's like you have to be a dip buyer. You have to be. So yesterday we overtraded it, we overthought it, we went long, we went short. At the end of the day, it was fine, but we overtraded it. We talked about that. We had some big bangers at near the end of the day. We did wind up having some shorts up here at 129, and we also looked at this long at the end of the day at 127. We're at 128, sorry. Okay, we had that imbalance come out. We got taken out there. But at the end of the day, this name just wants to go higher. 129 is the 200-period moving average. I think it's silly not to be a player of NVIDIA again today. And I like the AMD idea. And then we've been hitting SOXL as well. So, I mean, just like we'll hit the TQQs, we'll also hit this. So let's just get a feel for what this market wants to do. But unlike SOXL versus the TQ, if I'm just going to go into chip names, it's been NVIDIA and it's been working. So I'm going to stick with this name, NVDA, here today. And it's on the watch list, it's on the sticky note, and it's pretty much on everybody's mind. So NVIDIA strong and long at some point today.
All right, guys, let's talk about some Chinese ADRs that reported overnight. Kind of one's red, one's green. Let's start with the red one right now. Baidu, B-I-D-U, reporting down here, Adara. The net profit rose 5.3%. Revenue did decline, though. Online marketing seems to be the issue, not generating as much in terms of revenue from online marketing, but they're focusing on other things like self-driving cars, AI, et cetera. So what's the look there?
Baidu, yeah, definitely down here in terms of the adjusted earnings per share and the sales on a year-over-year basis. Adjusted earnings, $2.89 per share, down from $3.11 per share for Q2 2023. Sales here, $4.67 billion as compared to $4.7 billion that we saw last year as well. But then we had Bilibili, another ADR here that I know you guys, I do look at and talk about sometimes there as well for earnings.
Yeah, no, so Bilibili did quite well over here. I was just going to show the chart. I was going to let you talk about it. The net loss narrowed here on Bilibili. They did a little bit better in terms of revenue, 16% year-over-year increase in revenue. Advertising services kind of counter to what Baidu was able to do, grew 30% year over year. But their mobile game, Adara, this Three Kingdoms, is bringing on all the revenue. So that's an interesting look for them.
Yeah, we know the announcement of that for Bilibili was that day it was gapping up 16%. We didn't know why quite at first. Then we found it had to do with this game. So definitely well received. Also worth noting, Bilibili doing a lot more volume a lot earlier here than Baidu. So keep an eye on BILI right now.
What's the look, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, Baidu would be interesting if it was doing more volume. When looking at that, it looked like it would do a nice little breakout of like 90 level, but it's Bilibili that's doing at least some relative volume, and it's made a nice little base here off its 200-period moving average, around $13. Hey, oddly enough,
you guys
13 is going to be in play. 13 is going to be in play a little bit here with Rivian today. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's not really crazy. Like, it went crazy early, breaking it out, and then now you're just kind of chilling out right around this previous close from Monday. So I do think you want to let this one settle at the open. I'm always more inclined. I shouldn't say always more inclined. I'm almost always more inclined to stick to like with the name that you prefer to trade in the space, which is going to be Alibaba. In occasion, it'll be Pinduoduo or something else, but I mean Alibaba. It just seems a little bit more clean what to look at today for the stock, and it's just $83. Like 83 close, bounce off 83, breakout yesterday after the short day 2 days ago. It broke out through 83 and then held support at 83. So if 83 holds the open, I think Baba's got another leg in it to go to the upside. And if it's just going up on sympathy because of the other things going on, that's fine by me as long as you have a level to work off of. The only concern with Alibaba is this little bit of a trend high when you zoom it out. Like this little trend high that got rejected, but the top of that's about $85 anyways. So if you're getting longs off of the 83 level, that if it holds this morning, you have room till you get to that trend high temporarily. And eyeballs are all over any kind of a breakout above this level. It just needs to close out and above 86 or so. Hasn't once closed above this trend line yet. Once it does that, I think BABA has a pretty decent chance to make some real waves.
All right. Rob's just going to be coming. I don't think Randy's here, so we got Rob coming for the coffee. Look, I just went through a whole bunch of names, man, and I'm trying to find something that's of interest in China. I went through FXI, I went through KWeb, I went through. We're already long Alibaba. It's not. I've been looking at it, but haven't executed it in a couple weeks probably. You know, KWeb, FXI, both the big ETFs, right? I mean, those can move around. They're not really, but that's the thing. So I always, you know, we always talk about NIO and some of the. We'll probably be dealing with some Tesla today. We'll probably talk some Rivian. You know, this is just another name here that I don't want people to sleep on. It's just. They're doing tough stuff with the batteries. You know, we talked about all the chargers they have throughout China. You're trying to also base out here at 350, 360. You're only at $4. You know, we talked about taking shots in the dark, and I don't know if this is one that's necessarily in the dark. I mean, our eyes are wide open here to what's been happening with the EV name. So if you know you're at risk if you put your money into it. Look at Fisker's gone down, Polestar, Workhorse, Nikola. There's been lots of examples of names that haven't really worked out. And NIO could be that one as well. But at the end of the day, you know, it was nice. Yesterday, we sort of bottomed out there, and then you just drifted a little bit higher, right? You can see here on the 20-minute, you're trying to go this way a little bit. So I'm just looking at $4. You sort of zoom down, and you see there's a decent size there on EdgeX. So it's not like that's 160,000 is going to mean anything, but off open, we could get a little bit of a wall at $4. So just something to look at. We probably don't talk about it enough as an opportunity to trade because, especially if you're trading other people's money or even a smaller account size, you know, 1,000 shares, $4, $4,000. If you have a $25,000 account, maybe you take, you know, 3,000, 4,000 shares of NIO. And if you do get this little drift and you get an opportunity to buy on some kind of a given support level, which $4 might be, that's a way to make a couple $100, and then you just keep adding to that. So I feel like this could drift a little bit higher here today. With strength in the market. So NIO, watch it off $4.
Looks like a good chart there, Neil, for Li Auto. I'll have to look at that. All right, Piton, guys, up 12 and a fifth, was up 14% at the highs.
No,
moving up here on the report. Obviously, they reported a narrower loss than expected, about $30.5 million compared to a loss last year of $241 million. Revenue increased slightly, Adara, to about $643 million, but there's still issues with this company.
This is actually apparently their first sale increase that they've reported in 9 quarters. So that is, I guess, pretty significant there. And as you just alluded to, the market definitely reacting well, but also not all clear skies here. They did have lower than expected fiscal 2025 and Q1 2025 forecasts here for revenue, saying that they see continued sales headwinds in Q1 due to, quote, uncertain macroeconomic environments. So that is certainly of note. They also still don't have a CEO after former CEO Barry McCarthy resigned in May 2024. Since then, the company has been run by 2 board members. They're still looking for a CEO there.
12.5 in the pre-market, guys. What's the look?
I mean, maybe they're saving money by not having to pay a CEO. Cost-cutting measures at Peloton, right? I mean, they're practically giving away the bikes now, so you know why not further those cost-cutting measures? There was a question in the chat about fundamentals, and something that we usually say often on the show. When you're trading, especially day trading, swing trading to an extent, maybe not as much, that you can't get roped up in the fundamentals. Because price action is going to be price action, and it doesn't matter. Like, look at ASTS. It doesn't really matter that I can't make any sense of its valuation. If the stock is going up, it's going up. At some point in the longer run, these things matter. So for Peloton, it's up 14% today. And what I think about the long-term, what I think about the long-term prospects of Peloton is completely irrelevant when it has a 20% short float if it just breaks out this $4 and starts going ham on a squeeze. So I just, I look at something like this, I'm always willing to play the momentum. Right now, it's a positive reaction to their note. You're getting some continued buying on that daily. Yes, you've got $4 as resistance. So, up here, I would not be chasing any move in Peloton close to $4. That's overhead resistance. But if it's going to be holding like a VWAP, if we go back to a 3-minute maybe, if it's going to be holding higher lows, holding a VWAP or holding the 350 level, I think there's an opportunity here just for some potential squeeze plays on Peloton. $4, big level. That sets up as a potential breakout, but it's pulling right back. Let's see where it finds some support. I mean, 350 was support earlier. You have VWAP out there, but I wouldn't be getting long really, really tight to that $4 level because that's a clear resistance on that daily for Peloton.
Yeah, the other day we hit that ALZN when it broke through $8, and it was an absolute monster. And I like that take on Peloton again. We've seen some names start to run through and through, and Peloton right here at $4 looks about as good as anything. So it's down here is what we're looking at. I feel like this break of 4, just as Neil mentioned, you got to be part of it. So I think it's almost a maximum position. Like if you like that kind of a trade, break through 4, doesn't go, you get out. You know, maybe you lose that 2 or 3% on that, breaking back down with 4, 395, 390, something like that. If it's a false break, you can get out of it. There should be lots of volume. I think that's good. Again, squeeze play. I'm not even looking at the numbers. I don't care. What do I care what the report is? I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to, you know, put this into a hedge fund or anything like that. I'm just trying to blast this thing higher. So if this gets going through 405 is the actual top. So that's kind of what I wanted to tell everybody. But it doesn't, I don't think it matters. If it hits 401 and breaks 4, it's going to 405. So whether or not you want to put your stop 4 or 5 pennies higher than mine, it's up to you. But 405 or so, I think it's a great trade for Peloton. But remember, it was ALZN, yes, Alzamed. So we broke that out, and this is why it's very important. I can try to go back and find the day. I mean, it might take a minute to exactly do that. But it broke $8. It was right here when it halted. We were in this move on this break right here. It must have been 750 or whatever it was. We had this. We have an out at 13 or 14. We also have other outs as it was going up. I think we said at the end of the day, we took on average like $1.25 or something on all of our shares, and it actually went $3 or $4 against us, or sorry, with us, so we didn't maximize it. But then it just kind of barcoded. But then look what happened. This is the same day, right? That it was here at $8, $9, and then all of a sudden it broke sort of this halted area, and then it just wound up being down at the end of that all. Sure, it was still up at the end of the day, but look at this end of day move back in for ALZN. Now, of course, it's not an earnings play. It was this was an Alzheimer's play. So I was just going to say, if Peloton does fail break this 405, I don't think you really want to be in this name because you could start that drift back through again. So play the momentum as long as it's there. I like Peloton, 7.5 million shares. This name, we'll find out right now if it made our upgrade and downgrade board with Adara at the screen.
Guessing.
Last, it did not. The first 2 names on here, though, interesting. TSLA Advisory Group upgrading both of yesterday's big retail winners on earnings. Target and TJX both trading marginally higher here. Estee Lauder, after their earnings on Monday, getting this upgrade from Piper Sandler. So good look for them. We have Unilever as well here getting an upgrade from BofA Securities. Interesting downgrades here as well. TD Cowen downgrading 2 names in the transportation space. FedEx and UPS. The UPS actually trading a little bit higher here. We also have Macy's getting downgraded by TSLA Advisory Group after their earnings yesterday morning. And last but not least, Urban Outfitters down about 14% on earnings, getting a downgrade from TSLA here, guys.
Yeah, Macy's, well, there was a bounce yesterday because, it was down 10% on their earnings. I'm thinking like day 2 earnings play today for Macy's. The bounce came off of, it wasn't 15 even, it got down to about 15 and a quarter and eventually did that VWAP bounce to the upside. But if you look at this daily chart, I mean, $15 right here. If it retests 15, remember, it's still going to be short sell restricted today. So for one more day, you have to have an uptick to hit the bid. Makes it a little easier sometimes when the stock starts bouncing. So $15 looks like an obvious level out there on the daily. If it retraces into that, I'd look for a bounce there. The other side of the coin, it's be a little hard to tell, but at the open, this was pretty much exactly $16 was the high. So you've got this double top at about 1580 into 16, where if it just bounces from here, that would be a nice little fade zone. If it breaks out this level and people are only looking at 1580, fails 16, look for the short back in to the downside of Macy's. So a couple of easy setups there. One, is just going to be if it bounces off 15. If I see buyers at 15, try and get long in front of it, tight stop underneath, VWAP retracement kind of deal if Macy's sees $15. That's the one I'm concerned about today from that board.
Yeah, we had a day 2 play opportunity here with Target now. So look, yesterday Target had a great report, right? I mean, it was, but it got hit all day. So this is going to look like it didn't. I mean, I guess this looks like it got hit all day. But if you zoom in, it was actually a little bit worse, I feel like, than what we could imagine. You know, 161 closing at 159, still a great day. But look at this 159 area. That it closed basically on its day's low. So that's never a good sign. I feel like I wanted to go short this name here if we stayed under this 159, but then we get that upgrade. But is the upgrade even doing anything? You're only up 0.32 right now. Target with a great report, better sales, things seem to be working. The shrinkage is down a little bit there. They've cut, they're now looking to go for theft under over $50, not necessarily over 100, so that's helped a little bit with their plan there. And we don't hear too much about that anymore, so maybe they've got that worked out. But a little bit of an upgrade today. I'm not super excited about it. I thought it would have been up more than that. So I'm actually looking for a 159 breakdown right now on Target. VWAP's not going to matter that much, so if we get a 159 breakdown, we're going to have to try to think about what levels to use to get out if we're wrong, and that might just be a 160 psychological level. So I'm already thinking about $1 worth of risk at least, so trying to risk accordingly to that. Would probably rather wait off open for this play just because we don't have very much volume. And we can check the imbalance locator, which I have not done yet. It's often on here, especially off of day 2. No, TJX is there, but not TGT. So, yeah, Palantir's a sell, but Palantir's almost at highs again. Palantir breaking that 33 is going to be something interesting when and if it does that. Palantir's bounced its head off this $33 a couple times now. It's just hanging out. There's not going to be much of a better chart than this. This is a daily chart for Palantir. I mean, support, thank you, hold, support again, hold, comes down, holds right into that support, and then just absolutely rips. I mean, Palantir, we've been talking about this name for 3 or 4 years. It's up about 500%. If you go into here, January, just this year, this is up 115% or so, $15.50 up to $32. So, I mean, this name just continues to rock. NASDAQ up 12% this year, 13%. Palantir up 113%. So, I mean, there's a lot of love for this name. And you guys know that my love runs deep here with PLTR. So, congratulations to those of you that have been able to hold this name. We haven't sold any of this in a heck of a long time. But Palantir continues to move higher into that sell imbalance.
All right, guys, let's talk about Schwab here because down 3% in the pre-market. Off the lows, though. Here's a look. So TD, which owns about 12.3% of the company, they had to actually reduce that interest to about 10.1. Reason being here, they're setting aside, TD that is, $2.6 billion to cover potential fines for the deficiencies in their anti-money laundering program. So they had to offload some of Schwab in order to finance that.
Interesting, too, they actually initially got those shares in Schwab through part of its transaction to sell its interest in the TD Ameritrade. So through that sale, that's how they got those Schwab shares. Their current position here falling from 12.3% to 10.1%, more than 40 million shares sold. Schwab feeling the effect of it, though Schwab has been in a little bit of a downward trend here since those earnings. As you can see, we traded lower like the first 4 days here after earnings, significantly lower in the first 2 days. So continuing to be a rough summer for Charles Schwab. Yeah,
if I could show this to Fabian here. This is the daily chart on Schwab, and we'll have the boys look at this. This $62, $61 level seems to be, a continuous thing. We had it as resistance back in September and then use it as support earlier in the year, and we've been holding up ever since that big sell-off that Adair was talking about, this $61, $62 area holding.
Got cheers. We just got reloaded here a little bit.
A little polka dot action.
Randy
here.
Taking some more time.
Colorful.
Randy gets a haircut. Next thing you know, he's not here anymore.
Hey, man, you get a haircut because you want to hit the town.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's
have a little bit of fun. Randy's got to live his life, man. You get throw those jorts on, get that haircut, and live your best life.
Randy's in his dollar club mode already here.
So
I hate Schwab.
What am I going to say about this for Schwab? Well, this is Schwab.
SCHW, yeah.
See, now the only reason why it's not a flat bottom break is because it hasn't broken, which...
Yeah, it's retracing nicely.
It's kind of problematic because I guess you could just always be buying Schwab at $61 and been doing, I'd say, relatively decently with this. Well, if we come to the chart for a second, yeah, if you buy this 61, it looks like it's always working. And this breakdown, it's such an obvious key level. Like when you have this much confluence at a price level on a stock, that's where it gets interesting. Go all the way back to 2023, dump on Schwab, resistance. Breakout at that price. Break through, resistance again. Breakout and support above. Support again. Support, 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 support. When this breaks, got to be short. I mean, it's just, like, to me, it's that simple. And we've seen moves like this where you get a big level, it breaks that bottom, it doesn't go that time, you have to get out that day, that's fine. You know, if it ends up breaking this low, which doesn't look like it's going to now, but if it ends up breaking that low on the daily, it's just one of those ones that you take the shot at it. If it continues, it can be a home run style trade just because of how big the support has been. And if it gaps through, the other option is if it's someday we wake up and this sucker is just sitting underneath $60, just look short as a trend until it gets down into 50. But flat bottom break can only happen if this bottom loses on Schwab. So the buyers doing a decent job of it so far. On good volume, by the way. It's been a couple million shares already. Yep, no break yet.
So the other side of the Schwab story is TD Bank. TD Bank, this is why they're down, selling that percentage. And TD had, they've just been talking now about some of their money laundering and all that. You know, you've had a huge move up for TD Bank. I feel like this is a great buy opportunity if you get it down here to $57, which we just bounced off of. I don't know. There's very light volume down right now. I mean, this is 11,000 shares. It also trades, obviously, here where it belongs in the Toronto Stock Exchange. So this does not have any pre-market trading. That's one of the real faults, I feel like, of Canada. There's not too much volume coming in. But there we go right now. We're going to have to wait to see what happens with TD Bank. But I feel like down into the 50-period moving average, you don't get too many opportunities to buy banks in that area. But the best bank, of course, to own in Canada, the last time I checked, was Royal Bank, and that name just continues. This is kind of like the JP Morgan of Canada. This just keeps on getting higher and higher, now up to 154. I mean, this chart looks nothing like the other banks. I mean, this is straight up and now breaking. So Royal Bank just continues to work as well. So a couple little bit of bank talk there, just for the United States side of things. Here's JP Morgan. You're going to see it very much looks like what that Royal Bank looks like, back near the highs again after taking that dip and a huge move all year. So there it goes, almost exactly the same chart, looking to break this 217, 218 area again for JP Morgan. So not much volume, 800 shares today. Okay, well, we'll pass on that so far. But at the end of the day, if you think about shorting the banks, you got some decent levels here off of 217. For me, I like to play strength, and it looks like we might even want to break out here on JP Morgan. So, yeah, a little bit of bank talk there as some Peloton talk. I guess the call must be on.
Yeah.
All right, guys, past 9 o'clock, let's have a look at the futures. Yesterday, we closed at 56.41. We were talking about that 56.50 as that key level of resistance. Well, guess what? The overnight high takes us above there. We're already printing above it. 56.56 is the current price. So we'll look to 5,700 as that next level of resistance. Really no other resistance level here on the chart. We'll use 56.50 if we come back down as support. All right, guys, make sure to get the watch list every day. Adara prepares it, and we all use it on the big desk. It helps me organize my day, know exactly what's moving. So make sure you're signing up. It comes right into your inbox every day. All right, let's start off with the first on the rundown here. Snowflake reporting overnight, and it is not well received here, guys. Down 10.25. I'll let Adara cover the report. But Ramaswamy, the CEO, went on Mad Money with Kramer yesterday, where he basically clarified that Snowflake was not responsible for the breach that happened to AT&T, basically pointing the finger at them and saying that they had compromised security practices. He's also basically looking at increasing their IT security portfolio there.
Yeah, another thing he said as well was that the data breach has not impacted the core business, and he called that story, quote, headlines. So definitely not taking that too seriously here. In terms of their actual sales and earnings per share, they did beat here earnings of 18 cents per share versus estimates of 16 cents. Sales here, 868.823 million versus estimates here of 849.7 million. However, initially, though, I think part of the reason, as someone who covered this on the desk, this wasn't particularly well received at first, is because they reported their product revenue before they reported their whole revenue. Their product revenue here actually came in at 829 million, so it seems like a bit of a miss there for estimates. It was reported as a miss initially, so the way they reported was not particularly, I guess, easy for traders to understand, but they did generally have stronger than expected guidance here as well, so good look for SNOW.
Trying to hold up above 121, guys, but near the lows.
Yeah, and look, if it opens right here, it's already down 10 points. So you can look at that daily chart and see basically two things, 120 and 110. If 120 can hold this open, that would be like this. It's the kind of name, because it's, heavily interested name. It's a lot of people that look to be in it or are in it. It's going to do great overall. So if there is a bounce when it's 10% down, there's a lot of room for it to rally. But if 120 goes, you don't really have a heck of a lot underneath. So that's to hold the 120 level on any kind of a dip. Once it's through there, maybe look at every single $5 level or every even dollar, or when it calms down at lunchtime, if it loses 120, might look for an SSR 10% down bounce on this stock. I really thought the 125, you heard me say this in the afternoon show, that 125 would have been the level I would have liked to trade off of today, because it's underneath that. Any pop that gets to 125, I'd be looking for a bit of a reversal on Snowflake there. If I'm in a long at that point, I would certainly be taking out in front of 125. Yeah, but SSR bounce 120 is about the only place I'll be looking. If it loses that, all bets could be off until you get to those 52-week lows.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait for this, I feel like. A buyback program up to $2.5 billion. I mean, that's good.
That's not nothing.
I feel like this is going to be an overreaction. The problem is that they keep on saying AI, and it's not getting the reaction that normal stocks get to that. So I'm a little bit worried about the positioning here on Snowflake for myself. I was actually thinking about dumping this stock, but I don't necessarily want to dump a stock on earnings day down 10%. So I'd like to see a little bit of a relief rally up here. And I was looking, I'm long at 136, so it hasn't been a good one. Although that's where we were yesterday. I was really surprised that we were able to rally back there, to be honest with you. As we are lucky enough to get some down here that first time at 125. We had first bought at 150-ish on that kind of support. Then we got down into there, went back up, came back in, obviously, on those crazy days, and then made it all the way back yesterday. So I'm not super impressed with this Snowflake report, obviously. But, I mean, the report seems to be fine. I'd say that the other way. Not super impressed with the price action here on Snowflake, down 10%. I would be looking for that SSR bounce as well. So let's wait to see what happens at 120. But when a name is down like this, if I wasn't so misunderstood with what's happening with the stock, I would always say fade back into VWAP. So like a 122 also looks like a great short if you're feeling the other way on this stock. So it's going to be very violent off the open. That's about all we can tell you. Its expected move was 11%. It got it. It's right there right now. So, hey, I'm wishing the 11% was the other way and we were at 150. But for right now, we're down to 121 on Snowflake, looking for a relief rally. I don't think the quarter was that bad.
All right, Microsoft coming out here and revising their quarterly revenue guidance, Adira, and as well as announcing a reorganization of their business segment structure. We had revisions for Azure, the productivity and business revenue, intelligent cloud, and personal computing, all new figures going forward.
They basically explained here through an investor presentation that the reason for this is because they want to have this Azure number, quote, more closely aligning to their consumption business. They do see Azure, though, actually growing a little bit less than expected here for the coming quarter. So down 1.2 or 1 to 2 points there for their Azure revenue. We know their cloud revenue was an issue with this most recent quarter too, so that'll be interesting. Intelligent cloud revenue, they're seeing 23.8 billion to 24.1 billion. Q1 productivity and business revenue here, 27.75 to 28 billion. More personal computing, 12.25 billion to 12.65 billion. Biggest issue here, though, is that slight decline they're going to be seeing here in Azure growth.
So this is an interesting feature here, guys. This new AI release on Windows. So basically takes screenshots of your screen multiple times per minute. Yeah, Fabian, interesting. And basically it looks to recall anything that you forgot. Hey, I was on a website over here. I forgot which website. It said this, this, and that. You'll be able to go into Microsoft and recall that. I don't know how I feel about that, guys. What's your thought about this?
I couldn't figure out like a good reason why I would care about that feature, to be honest with you, but it doesn't really, ultimately that's not going to matter for us here necessarily today. I'm going to go to Meta in a quick second because I think that's one name I'm a little more interested in in terms of a big cap tech name. I think you try to keep it simple if you're trading Microsoft. It found a bid in the aftermarket at 41. I know it dipped down into like 19s and 20s, but it really found a bid a little later on at 421, and then you can see support. Close prices last week, another close around the 421 level. So I think that would be an interesting bounce zone on Softy. I don't know that any of this story is currently moving the needle, but there's a stock which has been moving the needle a little bit the last couple of days. The volatility at the open on Meta was intense. So, Meta going 527, almost breaking out that 540 level in just a matter of minutes at the open here, just charging up before retracing almost everything back into what is now clearly resistance to support, 530, 531. I don't know if we get back down to 530 to 531. If we get down there, that's all systems go. But Meta looks like it wants this 540 level. Now, the only problem is you've got these adjacent highs in here, which is like 545. I think if you get up to that on any kind of a break, take some profit, that'd be a point, another point up. But it's a little flat top action here on Meta at $540, which is seemingly incoming. And this NASDAQ wants 20,000. A few things will have to happen. Microsoft's diddling in the middle. This is right at those highs. NVIDIA's at those highs. Apple's at that 227. Actually, sorry, Apple's past that 227 from yesterday. So that's another one. It's not even, it's actually 227.5 right now, threatening a breakout of tomorrow's highs. I feel like Microsoft's not nearly as interesting as some of the other big cap tech names, which are primed for breaks off the top, unlike Softy.
Yeah, interesting that they just come out with that kind of report. It gets hit to the downside there, and then comes right back up. And I don't really see too much into this. We did have a huge trade yesterday on Microsoft as it fell down here. We were short off of, I think it was 425, wasn't it? And that really held yesterday. So those were some good trades there for Softy yesterday. We obviously had no idea that this was happening, but that's a nice move back into 420. At least it stops there. It gives us an area that if we start to fall down, maybe we can find some support. But yeah, I'm not super excited about this name. The other big tech name that I wrote down, you can go find them all on the sticky note, which is out right now at TraderTV Sean on Twitter, was Google. And we keep writing this name down, man, every day. It's because I feel like it's been pretty easy to play these dips, right? I mean, that first dip was into this 165 area. That happened twice, a couple days, right? 165 again. And then into here was 164. The minute we sort of broke above there, the short was no longer valid. So we were shorting into this area, and now we're longing now that we're above it. So trading doesn't get much simpler than this until it breaks. And then that's when you adjust and you take the L. So I'm still going to be here for 165 long. I know we're at 167, it's trying to go upside, but yesterday we were up here at 168 and fell into 165. So let's not kid ourselves that can't happen again. I believe it can. We're starting at a much lower spot. So let's wait to see if that can work. This is a 20-minute chart. If we go over to a 1-minute chart on Google, again, it's going to look, you could trade off of yesterday's close, which is 166. It's having a nice move up here. Let's wait to 925 to see the reaction. But Google finally is now outpacing the market. Remember when we switched positive on Amazon? I mean, now Amazon's going, man. It's 181. I mean, this name continues to have itself a day as well. Breaking above this 170 marker. We were shorting it underneath 170. Now you broke higher and we start to go. So Amazon right now keeps going higher and looks to be basing itself out above 180. So this could be another dip buy opportunity. So for me, dip buying into Amazon and into Google are a little more interesting than anything that Microsoft can offer me today, especially at $425.
This part of the show brought to you by Moomoo. Looking to maximize your idle cash? Earn 8.1% on idle funds for up to 3 months. Plus, U.S. users can take advantage of up to 15 free stocks and $300 in cash rewards. Hey, Canada, you're not left out. Enjoy 6% on cash balances, along with a 2-month commission rebate. Sign up with Moomoo and trade global markets with just one account. Gain access to an extensive range of data on stocks, options, and ETFs, complemented by over 100 charting tools and indicators, price forecasting, weekly rating reports, and instant alerts, all designed to elevate your trading game. For more details and the full terms and conditions, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Thanks to Moomoo for sponsoring this portion of the show.
All right, let's go on to NVIDIA, already up 1 1/4 and breaking through that $130 mark in the pre-market. Got a couple of nods today, both from Rosenblatt and from KeyBank. Rosenblatt giving a $200 price target and KeyBank with 180. They like the Hopper, Blackwell. They also like CUDA, the software offerings by NVIDIA. So good look for them this morning, Adair.
It's interesting, too. The one thing that shows up in both notes that I think is worth noting is they both say that even though there were some concerns, as we know, earlier this summer about the potential of Blackwell being delayed, neither analyst is worried about that at all. They're saying people will just continue to buy Hopper. So they're saying the Blackwell will not be a problem. Rosenblatt also explicitly saying they believe that NVIDIA will beat and raise in their earnings report next week. So it'll certainly be interesting to watch. Lots of bullishness.
Super strong this morning, boys. What's the trade?
NVIDIA strong.
Find a long. It's been basically the same notion. Like, you're just looking for where you want to find the long in NVIDIA recently. So like the easiest places to go have been look at the prior close prices, things like that, or look at previous support levels. I mean, 126 stands out there, 128 is going to stand out. And then the last one would be right in here, which is that double top. So resistance and turning into support. Now the wicks are at 129.40, which is, I can't remember a time NVIDIA looked that bullish in the afternoon, got to exactly the previous high, wicked it by 1 cent, and then came back down. It was a very odd move in the way that it happened, but that area in there makes some sense. It was 129.40, and then the bodies of the candle were a little closer to 129 on a daily chart. So I feel like that's kind of the first line, and then the second line is 128, previous close area support. And if all you know what breaks loose, 126. So you get patient for those levels. If there's a chip name that I think can be a short, and when we sat down here, I mean, the numbers weren't out necessarily, and AMD was kind of chilling barely above that 158, which was resistance yesterday. It's holding pretty decently above as we're heading to 20,000. I feel like if the market's breaking out the top and NVIDIA is breaking out the top, and AMD is losing this level, it's more like 158.5. If it's losing this level, then that would confirm that AMD is a short today. But while it's holding out above, I wouldn't want to be short something where it's above the resistance and then heading into the gap. It would have to be failing down here. I'd rather join a short in AMD than be looking for one aggressively.
Yeah, so I have NVIDIA written down on here again on this, for 129 long. Upgrade ahead of Wednesday's earnings, now over $1.30. $130. It has to be a long. I don't really think anything twice about this name. Strong again. I mean, Sharif already mentioned that. I've already talked about this epic move up. I mean, it's an amazing percentage in what this has meant for the stock. I mean, the amount of market cap that we've just simply gained in the last couple weeks is phenomenal. And they're still in buying it every day. Like, this name is up 35%, right? Adding hundreds of billions. Like, they added in 2 weeks, like 95% of the whole market is underneath what they added in the last 2 weeks, market cap wise, maybe more than that. So this name is a long. I like it down here at 129. That would be amazing to get something like that. And the reason why we looked at that level again, we had that breaking spot right there, 129.25. We've broken above that now. We're trying to hold it. Looks like it wants to do that. That's 129.50. The 200 period now is at 129. When we wrote this note down here, the 200 period was at 129, right here. Now it's just graduated up. So yeah, this name just continues to work, up 1.3%. Obviously they're upgrading it. I was talking to Obi about this. It's like, who wants to be, there's still 1% something short on this name? I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. If they actually put out a good number, you know how many shares like an ETF like SOXL and all this stuff, this is already triple levered. Like this name's going to pop. Like it's going to create such an amazing move higher in NVIDIA itself because SOXL has to get in there and start buying that up as well. So I like NVIDIA here. There's no reason for me to look anywhere else. If there's weakness, you can look somewhere else at that point. But I think if you're going to play long, I really like NVIDIA. But don't sleep on AMD. I mean, I know Neil mentioned that before as well. We still have 10 minutes to go. AMD's been, I actually shouldn't, let me let this develop because I want to see. So this is 130 up to 160. So this has added $30 on 130. So it's obviously similar to what NVIDIA added, but still half. Nice move up for AMD. And again, above the 50 period, I like the long. I'd rather go permanent long above 160. So right now you're kind of just hovering around this 50 period, right? So let's get way away from that and then see what happens. So for right now, AMD and NVIDIA, man, two names that are really moving higher here this morning. It's 9:20, 5 minutes until imbalances. I'm going long NVIDIA.
In focus again today, guys, as we come into the last day of the RNC, or the DNC, I should say, excuse me. But that isn't the reason we're moving again. It looks like here possibly Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to drop out of the presidential race by the end of the week. Speculation swirling that he may endorse Donald Trump. Unsure when that announcement will be made. Some people speculating it could be Friday there.
Well, the Friday speculation comes from the fact that RFK Jr.'s press secretary actually posted on X that he's set to, quote, address the nation live on Friday about the present historical moment and his path forward. So we'll have to see. We don't know when on Friday that is. It is interesting, though, as well. Yesterday at 2 p.m., we had, bless you, we had Donald Trump speaking live from Truth Social. So from, this platform here at DJT, basically delivering some remarks on national security. Not sure the results of that, but we know when he speaks, the stock can move. Actually bouncing very nicely from its lowest point since its merger as of Monday night.
13.5% yesterday, guys. Another 3 1/3 today.
Yeah, this is one of those fundamentals when you day trade, it don't matter. Stocks, no question about it. So it's making another break. It looks like this time $15 or $25, it looks like is going to be the key level to hold above. It's already failed 25 once. You haven't really tested the previous close. Always going to be a level to look for on any kind of consolidation day. Like when you have a big move like yesterday, don't discount the fact that it just sort of lets off some steam, lulls everybody to sleep, ends up just holding this support, which, that's actually giving up a dollar change off those highs. Anyone buying in the pre-market, they're out of the money. 25 buyers are out of the money if it gets down here. But really, anybody from yesterday is still singing praises if it's at $24. So if it does hold there off of the open, I think that'd be one of those afternoon rally style plays. But I need to see it above 25. Squeeze stocks need to break for me to like it. Either it hangs out down here and you can catch something fun in the middle of the day, or it's breaking out tops. And there's a little bit of overhead resistance at the next couple of levels. So I think the next huge break isn't for a while. So I'd be more inclined to just wait around for this to make some kind of a base to go off of. It looks pretty decent at this 25.50, but I don't want to be in this at the open and try to be looking at Peloton as well. So you got to pick. I mean, if you're going to play a squeeze name, you're either looking at those Mpox names, Peloton, or DJT. Pick your poison. The Mpox names are moving way more. Peloton has the earnings kind of like that 4 a little bit better there. I don't think DJT is going to be something I'll look at unless it ends up in the middle of the day basing at that 24 level. That could be.
JKL with the super chat here talking about when I just mentioned the short float there on NVIDIA. He's saying that's why he was mentioning it the other day. Short volume still super high. So here it is right now. Thank you. There you go. How do I like that? There you go. Do not want to remove that super chat. Thank you, JKL, for that. I just want to show you something here because as though we talk about NVIDIA having that short float of 1.17%, look at AMD's. It's 2.69%. AMD's almost triple the short float there on AMD as it is on NVIDIA. At Micron, double NVIDIA's. The other name, obviously, we can look at Intel if you want to check out that. That's only 2.14%. So there we go. The name that is the big one for everybody is Broadcom. Broadcom has a 13% short float. So we're going to have to find out if that is right or not. I'm actually going to double check that right now with Benzinga before I go back over. What time is it? 8:23. Okay, lots of time. AVGO right now. We'll just double check the short float right here. Yeah, so that's wrong. So they just haven't flipped it over yet, the 10-to-1 split. So there it is, 1.26%. So good thing we checked it out. So it looks like AMD, I'll have to report that to Mr. Michael Noss there. I'll have to remember that AMD is the one with the bigger short float. So I had known that, but I just didn't want to get everybody. If you're playing chip names for short float, AMD is 2.89% and NVIDIA's is 1.17%. But you know what? This is called due diligence. So hold on a second. I'm going to see what they say for AMD over here. Yeah, so there it is right there. Let's double check, right? So you got to have their checks and balances. So there it is, 2.69 matching on both platforms. So AMD is that one. And make sure you do hit that like and subscribe button. You can scan right there, grab our watch list, hit the like and subscribe, hit the share button, hit all of that. Make sure you tell everybody that you've now found Trader TV Live. Go follow us all on socials as well. Watch list completely free. There is the imbalances that just came out. Wow, okay. So there goes NVIDIA. So NVIDIA just was cruising up here to 130.20s, 130.30. There it was. Okay, now it's gone. Look at that. Eaten up as soon as we showed it on the screen. It was eaten up. So there it goes, NVIDIA down there. It was $1 million or so of a buy and balance. There it is, it's back right now. So we're just going back and forth here. So watch out now. You're gonna get some violence, I believe, off the open today. It's the only one of any significance on here. We have a Palantir sell, bah humbug. I'm still waiting for Palantir to break through 33. And then so it's just NVIDIA right now going back and forth. You can see it keeps on appearing, disappearing. So we'll have to figure out what's going on there, but it's NVIDIA, the biggest name on the board there today. Over 10 million shares already. Let's see what happens now with NVIDIA.
Zoom getting a nice little move up here, up over 2%. Guys, they reported yesterday overnight. I'll let Adair cover the earnings report, but they are actively promoting a new type of business segment. They're trying to get into the customer contact centers. In fact, they've won several competitive bids so far. Looking to expand their moat, Adair. They grew 2%. But a far cry from the 325% year-over-year growth we were seeing before.
That's for sure. The numbers, though, are very strong, as you just alluded to here, beating on adjusted earnings per share and for sales. They also announced that their CFO is set to resign. They're currently looking for a new CFO to replace current or outgoing CFO Kelly Steckelberg. Also, guidance here pretty strong, especially for earnings per share for Q3 and fiscal 2025. Slight beats here for their revenue guidance as well.
All right, good look, guys. 2.87.
Yeah, it's only 2.87 on Zoom. You know, that's not anything that's going to get us terribly excited in terms of a percentage move. But, you know what? You guys didn't see this. I had it up briefly, and it got shown. This is the daily chart. We mentioned this in the aftermarket show, that 200 period moving average. I wanted this gapped above it and above this June level at 63.5. If it gets above there, I think you've got a little bit more chance of a big breakout here on Zoom. So in lieu of that, you do have these previous highs about 61 and then $60 that look like dip buy zones, but you know, without it getting through that top, doesn't look very enticing to me on Zoom today. It's a very much an inside move. With Zoom, you're expecting fireworks and double digits. When you get 3%, you're not going to be all that happy about it. Just a quick note, Snowflake's already bounced off this 120, actually 121 up to 123. So there's still a chance that it's not going to be 10% down at the open. That's the point. But there's still a chance it could still dip, and if it gets down 10 points and makes that same playoff 120, I would still look for it. But it is not going to be SSR at the open. Snowflake already starting to bounce in here. We didn't mention Tesla just very quickly. A lot of times there might be imbalances on some of the big names. Tesla, I did not see one, but it didn't matter. It going to the downside as if there was a little bit of a sell imbalance there on Tesla. So the market just tagged 20,000 on the upside. Apple just went higher. Most of the things I'm looking at went higher. Tesla's starting to fall. So I thought this one had a chance to break out the top, get back through that 225 area. The dip zone was 220. I don't know that if it's, I mean, that's the patient play is to wait for 220, I suppose, on Tesla if it's not going to hold above 225. So selling at the open here on Tesla. A Peloton is getting close to that $4 here again at the open. So that's pick your poison for squeeze names, but potential squeeze names. I'm not saying it's going to squeeze, it just might. That $4 level, a big one here on Peloton.
So I have a couple, let's just talk about what we're doing with 1 minute to go. We have Palantir ready to go to break through $33. We're also bid a little bit lower into 32. That's a play we're looking for. We're looking for Apple if it wants to dip down into 226. That's going to be a level. These are all on the sticky note. Go find it at Trader TV. Sean, a name that we didn't talk about that I'm also bidding is Disney. What about Disney at 90? If we can get Disney down to 90, I like that area. We are also bidding Google. They're all bids. So if something changes, we will quickly go in and cancel all these bids if the market comes down. We still like that 165, 166 area. If that comes through for that one, we're bidding that. Mara is another name that we're bidding. It might fall into 17, so watch out for Mara. That could be an early play. NVIDIA, we're going to be all over that one. And then last but not least, we're going to go with Bitcoin. And we're going to go with IBIT. So if IBIT can take this 35-25 area, I like it. I like it a lot on a breakout for BTC. I feel like we want to be long NVIDIA with 10 seconds to go. So that's what we're going to do as well. Here comes NVIDIA right now. Only 5 seconds now. And we get open. Let's see. Good luck to everybody.
Good luck, everybody. Bring it.
All right, we now in and ready to go. So here we go. Apple, again, a level that I liked for Apple was a breakout through 228. We had bounced off of that level a couple times, 228 or so. But here is the pullback for Apple. So we'll just wait. I mean, we don't have to do anything yet. The pullback for Apple is happening down to 227 into the 200 period. What is gone now, and maybe forever, no, just joking, is
forever.
NVIDIA. There it goes. Nice upside move. Let's start the trade now. It's above 130. We'll get into it and see what it wants to do. We're long now, NVIDIA. We said we would be.
Yeah, NVIDIA racing to the upside. Peloton broke $4 here. Just tagged the 10 level.
Oh, did it?
Let's see how far it wants to go. I mean, oh, wow. There's a lot of sellers at here. 7s, 8s, 9s. They're still stacking it up there. There's more at 7. Another guy sitting at 9 after getting filled for 20 or so. I saw a 30 thou go by at 7 a couple of times in here. Yeah, this might get a little bit heavy. I'm going to give it back. I have it down to the 90 level, so 1-1 being at the 10, and then just if it fails the 90, get out. You know what? I'm not going to adjust that. It was already a relatively tight stop, so I think I'll just keep it there. So a lot of sellers there on Peloton, but that $4 level is broken. Snow obviously did not open SSR. Going to go back over to NVIDIA. VWAP 130 going to be in play here on that one as it's going up. No break on Apple through 228, so that did not break out the top.
Okay. If you can guess what trade we're in right now, you win nothing. NVIDIA, we're long. We just taken some out here in the 60s. Let's see if it wants to go. We're long at 39. We have 2 reloads there. Well, it's 2 positions, but you know, that one was a good one. Our next one was a little bit more shares, which is why we're able to get that back to the upside right now. The market is definitely falling right now. Good trade there. I saw Neil was on Peloton. I did not get that break. I did not look at it. I know we talked about it, but Peloton trying to go, and NVIDIA right now trying to get back into 130. If we blast down through this 130, we're not going to hold it. So let's wait to see how far through 130 it goes and get out if it continues through there. So here comes in one more time. It is NVIDIA.
Yeah, where am I on the bid? I thought I'm at 11s, that's why. Usually I go to 22. I went to 11s on that one. Piton, I think it was the right move to get out. Those sellers that were heavy at the 10 level took it right back down through 90, so we did get some out at 10. The slap to fail on that break. It looks like it's pulling right back into VWAP. We'll let that one calm down a little bit. We're on the bid in front of 130 on NVIDIA, but Apple was either dip into previous close or breakout at 228. Neither one has happened yet, but it's showing a good range like it did yesterday. 227, 228 top. If it doesn't get down to that previous close, I'll look 227. Like the actual even dollar level instead, as that's going to the upside. There was a halt. I didn't catch it. I don't know the symbol. It's AMS. Not sure what that is. I think it's a penny stock that's halted. I thought for a second it might have been one of those like GovX or something like that. So it's not one of the monkeypox stocks, but Mpox stocks. Let's go to it there.
Another small cap to keep an eye on here is Air Industries Group, AIRI. They are traded on the Amex here, up almost 70%, near days highs, securing a $110 million contract here for some GTF aircraft engine components. Worth noting, their market cap is about $12.5 million. So that's a pretty significant contract. Float of 2.43 million shares for AIRI, guys.
All right. So still on NVIDIA, letting that one cook a little bit. We do have some offers in the 80s, so if that gets going, we will try to get out there, and then maybe some in the high 50s. But it's not necessarily going. Got to give this one a little bit of room. All right, let's check back in on other stuff here. Google, let's check out on our Disney play. Let's go a little bit. Like why I type in DIS and absolutely nothing comes up. All right, so there's Disney in New York. So nothing. So put me to sleep a little bit here. DIS only now up 0.33 and not moving with no volume. So that'll be a pass. That's on our watch list. The other name was iBit. I can see what's happening now with Bitcoin. You can see my bottom right there is Bitcoin. So you're going to be able to see that. And that's not doing anything. So again, we are waiting for a top break. We could check out now. Our dip play was going to be Mara. What? No. 1717. We're at 17s, 15s on Mara, so we missed that by a couple pennies there on MARA. Okay, well, that's too bad, but that's so far so good, though. Nice hold there on Mara. We'll see if it falls back in right now to those levels. And then the other name that we wanted to look at that was on our radar, and again, you guys tell me if you're trading anything else, was going to be Palantir. That's not moving. And then thank you, I just saw in the chat as I looked up, oh no, there's our break, man. We said 159 on target. That's going to be a good one. So let's go that idea. If you traded it, again, I'm loaded up here on NVIDIA. So, but that was a great trade, breaking back down below. We said target was weak yesterday. Got a BS upgrade, I felt like, because it didn't move on it. So there it goes, downside right now for target, trying to get lower on that. NVIDIA really disappointing, man. I mean, I'm wasting my time.
It's not moving as much as you would like on NVIDIA. It can't seem to get past 130.5. That's looking pretty darn nasty. But 120 just came in on, not NVIDIA, sorry, Snowflake. I almost said NVIDIA because NVIDIA's on the brain. It bounced off 120 first. Then it broke back above 121. So I got both in here, giving it underneath 120 bucks. If it loses 120, I'm out. If it bounces to the highs, I'm out. NVIDIA looking awfully weak. I said the only thing I was looking for a short this morning would have been AMD under 158. AMD that's a big false breakout on AMD. So if it loses that support level, that would set up that short I was looking for. But it's not there yet. It's above yesterday's high. So I can't really be in love with that at all on AMD for the short just yet. NVIDIA still holding on to 130. Yeah, it's still holding on to 130. Let's see if I can add there.
It did break there.
I know, but look at the wicks are right there, 129.75.
Yep,
so it's looking pretty good down there. Snowflake's trying to hold the line. Macy's is doing nothing. Piton is now battling back, though, and trying to hold above $4. So I might jump back into this one on a local consolidation on Peloton. Still just the same couple of names in here that we have.
Oh, man, go, go, go. I mean, we're only in one trade here. We have that NVIDIA long 130.13s right now. We have been getting some out for a little bit of a hit, obviously, as it comes back in. We were nervous about that 130 break. But now that we have the 130 hold, it is all good, hopefully. So let's now wait to see where NVIDIA wants to go. We're loaded up, man. We are loaded up. This is probably one of the bigger trades here for a minute. So let's give it a chance to see if it wants to work. It's NVIDIA. It's trying to go. What's up, A?
Great push off the open for Zoom Communications, ZM. We just talked about them at the end of the rundown. Strong earnings report, strong guidance. Had highs of day here, pushing above that 64, initially wicking down right off the open, but has not looked back since. Great look here for ZM, guys.
Okay, well, if I had gone for the Zoom break instead of NVIDIA, that would have been nice, but it is what it is. Zoom definitely gone, looking pretty solid in there. Eton's trying to hold this $4. Not on the bid just yet. I want to see it maybe break out the top. You know what? Forget about break out the top. Let's see if we can catch a dip buy back into 395 or VWAP. That's going to make a heck of a lot more sense there. Tracking AMD in case it makes that flush. It's the rejection of the high. Still could make that flush through the bottom. If it does, this was the only thing I was looking for a short setup on, and that would be underneath that pre-market, post-market or afternoon high, pre-market low. Let's have a look at that one if it makes the break. For now, NVIDIA holding. You're at 120.5 on Snow, and NVIDIA is trying to get back into that $0.50. Can't seem to go more than 25 cents off of this bid. Apple still looking for 226.50. That's not coming in at all, but this Nasdaq's under 20,000 and looking like it wants to go lower.
All right. So we're getting, we've just been getting some out. You guys know that, we have shares on board here. So every time it goes up, like what I can make on a 20-cent move is good enough. So we're going to wait to see. Like right now, we're in the money 20 cents, but we don't want to take 20 cents. We've been taking it because it's not going higher. We still have much more than half. We have about 65, 70% left of this trade because we keep reloading it. We have 4 reloads down here, and then all these are out. So there comes another one. So here it goes. Now if it breaks, right, we've reloaded it. We've gotten out a couple times. There is a big buyer right there. I don't know what exactly that means. We'll get another piece out if it goes back above 130 right now. But yeah, this name is pretty weak here as the market looks. There it goes, breaking through 75. So breaking through 75 right there for NVIDIA. Some out, not a lot of it out. So now we have to wait for that 129 level that we liked in the beginning right now for NVIDIA. But we had to get out, and that's fine. We got out on that 75 break. We did okay on that. We're going to wait for a little bit lower now. That might have been the wash bottom, but again, we don't want to like lose everything on one quick idea. So we'll wait for this to come through again. 129 now, the level of concern for me on NVIDIA. And maybe this is the day where it gets to the wash side, but we're still up 1%. It just hits the 200 period. It's a good thing we got out there because it did go down to 129.50, but there's the hold right back up. So
now it's holding again.
Yeah, so a small hit there on NVIDIA, well worth it for that shot in the dark. We just talked about getting some out as it was not holding VWAP. So yeah, NVIDIA right now a losing trade. Today, you are right about that one. Target would have been the one, man. We talked about shorting that one through 159. Palantir's trying to come up to $33. Apple's not doing anything. Maybe we'll have a look at Tesla when we get back from Madeira.
Nice look here for Staffing 360, another small cap. This one doesn't have any news, but it does have a market cap around $1 million. Float here of just under 750,000 shares, 7.5% short float for STAF. Also worth noting they did undergo a 1-for-10 reverse split as of June 26th. So nice look for this one. Kind of range bound, but lots of volume coming in here, guys.
All right, we're making back a decent amount right now. Let's go. We just said Tesla, guys. And guess what? We're $1 in the money. We just punched long on Tesla right there. Let's see if it can go a little bit higher right there as we take a piece out. We take out a third right now on that play. So let's go, man. We just went over to Tesla. We like sort of that dip onto 222. We did have a dip down into 221.50. But we're playing momentum, and there it goes. It is finally, thank you, Tesla, for making this happen for us. We have to get out first, though. That was a nice move up. It just is $1. We just talked about that. So let's see if we can just break a little bit more through the high side here. We're waiting in the 60s now for Tesla. So far, so good. Decent trade here as we just put $1 back on the board.
Yeah, there was a push up $1 on Zoom, but it just tagged in front of 121, right back into the 120. So we're adjusting move on Apple here. It's not getting down to 220, 226. You can't see those lows or those closes from yesterday. It's 227 where this is buying. And I said if it doesn't get down to my level, it's bounced twice at 227. Just take it at 227. You trade it where it is, not where you want it to go. And the support's not at the level that I want. We want to be long this name. Just going to have my stop order in there. If we lose the bottom, then we have to get out. Just like NVIDIA, you know, you don't want to hang on when it loses that support level. Now 130's resistance on NVIDIA, still tracking it back into previous double top. So there's still the chance it can come back into here and look like a long for me, but not yet. Just going to have to be patient with it. Zoom is the one. It's gone through that 63.5, and VWAP's actually sitting at that breakout level of $63.50. So if there is a dip, I suppose that's going to be it. Still at 120.40 on Snow. It's not really giving you the big bounce on Snowflake. 123 was the high. It's bounced off 120 a couple times, but like it gets to 121. And the sellers are still there on Snow for an SSR bounce play. If you're enjoying the action here with this market trying to break that 20,000, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Subs only chat. If you want to engage in the chat, let us know what you're trading. Hit that subscribe so you can. I see a lot of people talking about some names that we haven't even looked at here, including my personal favorite, Mullen.
All right, my personal favorite is Palantir. You guys have known that because you know what Palantir has been doing for us. Right there, up that 120% this year alone is PLTR. Okay, so here we go. It's trying to break through that high side. So we've got $1 in the money on Tesla. You see what I mean? This is what happens, man. You get that dirt on your shoulder, you just kind of do something like this. So bye-bye, there goes NVIDIA worries, and we'll leave that alone until we get a little bit lower and we switch over into Tesla and hit that for that $1. But here it comes back in again. Watch out for these futures. Why I talked about Palantir, we're up to 33. I'm taking a 33 break. It stopped there a couple times. I don't mind. I'm also sitting down here at VWAP. If we get a VWAP push back in, we'd also like to take that one. All right, NVIDIA just fell in again one more time. Remember where our stop is? We wanted 129s. That was what was written on our sticky note there. So we're long now into NVIDIA, 129.40s right now. What's that little high? What is this 200 period? So 70s. All right, so let's go up here in about the high 50s or so. There it is, man. Nice little reload area there for us on NVIDIA. You see what I'm saying? No worries, baby, because we're back in the building right now. Nice move there for NVIDIA, back to the upside. So that's what we're talking about, man. You stick with your guns, you stick with what you've been doing, and there it goes, a nice dip buy opportunity in for NVIDIA. Oh yeah, Neil. Oh yeah, let's get going. Nice move up there into the 70s now. We better put an offer on that one. And by the way, oh no, we did it again right there on Tesla. We got a nice little Tesla dip buy there as well. Long at 222.12s. So we're gonna have some back-to-back jacks for you right now. We have numbers, it's PMI. They're out right. I wish they weren't coming out, but they are. We've got two sweet longs. Let's hope it doesn't get busted. Yo, what up, A?
Waiting on 3 PMI prints here from S&P. We've got services PMI, manufacturing PMI, and composite PMI. All of these are the flash prints for August, so just the preliminary prints here. Services PMI, 58.2, so above, or sorry, 55.2 here, above estimates of 54. We have manufacturing PMI here, below estimates 48 versus estimates of 49.5. And composite PMI here, above estimates here, 54.1 versus estimates here of 53.2. So just to summarize, services and composite above estimates, manufacturing below estimates, S&P 500 pushing back higher here. Also worth noting, unannounced comments here from Fed Harker. Was not seeing these in the schedule, but Fed Harker saying that the Fed is ready to start the process of cutting rates, or at least Fed Harker is. Also saying that the markets have already moved to price in Fed action, and the inflation is moving down. It'll take time to get to 2%. So some unprepared remarks from Fed Harker coming in, guys.
Let's go. Like, I don't know, guys. Thank you, Adair, for all of that. Tesla, $2 in the money. We just took a piece out on that play right there. NVIDIA, Neil, back into the dollar club as that starts to go upside. How's it been treating you? We've been banking right now, man. We take that one hit early, but now it's all gravy. Let's go.
Yeah, we're having trouble with 121 on snow, so we're getting this bounce where we want it. It can't seem to go past it over and over again. Apple, I got out in front of the number on Apple. That's what it's all about. Like, it could not hold on to that low. Again, if I'm going to trade it from here, I'm not holding it down to there, and we never really saw that previous close price.
Yeah, man.
So try to keep it in the pocket. You're still holding 227 for now, but I'm not jumping back into this until it looks a little bit stronger. This is what I'm seeing on the future. You've still wicked the high and are consolidating underneath. So you're trending a bit to the downside in there. So reloading early on those longs, unless it's showing me a reversal of trend, I'm not going to like as much. Peloton's now holding a higher low off of VWAP, but Snowflake is right about to test that 120. It's on the bid. I'm not reversing this one short. I just have a stop out through the 120 level. So we'll get out of Snowflake. I loved Snowflake for an SSR bounce today. It's not often you get a stock this big down 10%. So I know I'm going to take the shot at this one, anticipating it should be either my best or worst stock on the day would be something like a Snowflake. But it just broke 120, so we're out of it. And we'll have to hunt for a different level. Maybe 115. Maybe there's some other even dollar level. There's nothing underneath for Snowflake on the daily chart until you get all the way down here, like 115, 112. Looking pretty nasty for Snow.
Look at this. Yeah, you know what, Shakib? That's right. It's Hydration Nation. And you're going to see difference again. We just talked about this. I'm only on 2 names so far here today. It's focus. It's trading the names that you want to trade. It's waiting for things to happen. It's everything that I hope to be today with trading. I mean, those are some good plays. We'll wait to see if Palantir wants to break it. But you are right, Shakib. Hydrate. Let's go. Let's keep this moving forward. What's up, A?
Frequent runner Hims and Hers held back on watch here, HIMS. Nice little volume pop here in the previous 3-minute candle. They did get a buy rating here from Needham with a $24 price target, currently trading around $17.45 and trying to push higher, up 5% with a short float here, about 8.9%, guys.
Yeah, so what I was saying was just like, you know, you got to stay in the pocket here. Like, there goes NVIDIA. There goes Tesla. Like we wrote down 129. So when this dips into 129.50, we're taking that long. And we're also getting stopped out when it doesn't work early. So you take those sort of lumps early to get right back at it, you know, and stick with the names. You know, and that's what I was getting at. You know, you got to be able to focus on what you've been doing, right? I mean, we had looked at Peloton. We didn't write it down on here. We had talked about a possible break of that $4, but you guys have known breakout trades for me haven't necessarily been working, so we stayed away from them. Then we had Disney on our mind as well, right? Down here at 90, it's come back in. This could actually be a trade now that I look at it, but we're already focused, man. We're focused on these plays. I mean, dip downs into Tesla, dip downs, get out at the 50 period. Now we're ripping $1.50 in the money Tesla, $1 in the money on NVIDIA. And I mean, you know, we're doing it. And this is what we're doing. So let's just keep on going, keep on watching out what's going on. I'm going to keep on watching the chat for any kind of trade ideas. But there goes Tesla, there goes Meta, there goes NVIDIA. Like all these names keep climbing upside now. Apple, Neil was on that stock. So let's have a quick look at this. So we don't want Apple unless, and again, as it was written, right, 226 or 228. So I think a 228 break might be in store for that. But we've really changed our game, man. Much more patient, and it's been working out. So JPM, yeah, Chris, we talked about that earlier. Microsoft Green, guys, there's only so many stocks I'm going to be looking at. And
AMD's breaking down.
Palantir is trying to break higher as well. Go ahead, yeah.
All right, so the only stock I was looking at for shorts is AMD, and AMD's starting to break down. So we're going to get over to that one right quick. It broke at the same moment initially that NVIDIA did, but the second, I was like, I wanted to be on NVIDIA level 2, so I punched out right away because I thought if NVIDIA was going to wick the bottom and come back up, I wanted to get back long NVIDIA, which didn't happen. Rather than be initiating short in AMD. But there's room for this to get to the downside. I mean, this market is really starting to come in here. I'm on the offer at the 50 level or in front of the 50 level, looking for a push down into 146, if we can even get it. I was just notified that Meta is adjacent to $540. It's getting pretty darn close. Every single time it's gotten to 540. This is just a monster level. If the market breaks the high and this has already gone, like it should be at 500, it'll be gone, like 550. The market's pulling off the highs, and Meta wants the highs. So any bounce in the market could easily have this one fly through that 540 level. Let's go up to the desk. I'm just sitting offer on AMD. NVIDIA needs to get a little bit lower before it's at my next support.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
All right. Free 14-day trial. Get that from Benzinga Pro. We got that news in our ear all the time, so we definitely like that program. All right, so again, you know, you can hold things forever, but you got to get out. Like, so we're noticing right now NVIDIA has had, as Neil's been looking at AMD for weakness. I think that's probably right, because right now NVIDIA, the strongest name, and we'll have to look to see what AMD's up right now, if it's up at all. I haven't looked at it. 130.20.
It's flat.
It's flat. Okay, so yeah, so there you go. So the weaker one would be that. This is the stronger one. So if we want to go, let's go. I'm actually waiting at 130.26s here to see if we can get a break and get back upside. That's actually, it should be, I put 26, but it should be 20s. So right there, we'll see if that can work out for us. Waiting for a little bit of a higher move now. Back in for NVIDIA. Look, we're $1 in the money on the high side of that trade, but it has fallen back in. So we're going to put an offer there now at 18s to try to get that. Tesla, same kind of story here. I'm going to wait now at 223.50. This was that huge move on that number. We were able to really bank out initially on this, and then we got a huge move up to 224 where we were sitting there and able to once again take a piece out at the high side, but we need to get a little bit higher. Come on, NVIDIA, just 10 more cents and we'll piece out a piece. Oh, Apple just broke higher right there, 228. So there we go. So now we're getting ready to go. We're not in it, but I like this play on Apple. So let's see what we could do here with AAPL breaking that 226 right now.
228 on Apple, breaking. AMD just popped into the south side. We'll have that one in a second. Apple did already break 228 and came right back in. So the initial move does not hold. If it's not going to break back above for a second push, I'll take the break twice. But I'm looking dip buy now at VWAP. If it's a failed break, let it get down into VWAP. That's a level that we like. So we'll see what happens there in Apple. I just picked up AMD. Again, the only thing that I wanted short today, I feel like, yeah, it's not red on the day, but it's underneath yesterday's high. It's underneath VWAP. Going to give it back into VWAP 158.80. And the other thing screaming is obviously Meta. So Meta's making some power moves. Apple just got there first. Apple got to 120, or 228. And Meta at 540 simultaneously. So both Meta and Apple getting that pop currently. I was on Apple in the moment, but currently Meta is racing through that 540. 545. That's that big high on the daily. I think there's room to get to that price. After that, all bets are off.
All right, so we just nailed that NVIDIA, man. We get that smooth dollar on that one as that starts to go. But we do have a new position, and it's starting to fall down a little bit. We talked about getting hit before on Palantir. We're not going to let that happen again. But there it goes. It's a nice move up there for Palantir. We're long at 33 breaks, so we're long at 33.02 right now. But it is starting to go to the downside. Yuck. Bleh. Hopefully we can hold it. We're going to try to give it back to VWAP. We better cancel our VWAP trade now on the downside because that's not going to hit. And if we want it, we might want to get out. So right now, 32.80 would be a small little reload area for us. Now, again, we don't want to be like, we could be wrong, but we don't want to be wrong forever because look what just put in right now. The biggest one, man. I mean, this Tesla trade. This is a monster trade, man. This is 222. We just got out at 223.50 a couple times. We said Tesla was looking real good today, and that's exactly what it did. And then look what just happened again right now on NVIDIA, man. That's another dollar. So we're putting up some trade ideas here today and really starting to go. We will be traded 3 names. We're just waiting to get our money back on NVIDIA right now. But we're not going to make back what we lost initially. We didn't put on the biggest trade down there. It didn't get into 129. If it did, then we would have had a lot more. The best it got to was 40s. So that's kind of like that 1/3 starter position for us on that one. But Tesla, we're all over that one. So again, Neil and I will talk about this, man. Neil's traded today 5 or 6, 7 names. We traded 3 names. This is what it's all about. Find the opportunities, go for the scanners. Hit the trade ideas scanner for us if you want. It hits VWAP highs, high-a-days, targets like that. We talk about this all the time. If you're trading blind, then you're not trading properly. You have to have your ins, your outs, and your expectations, right? So here we go. Palantir, nice move back upside now. I'm going to try to get something out if we hit 5s and 6s. But after that, man, we're waiting for 9s. There we go. So we'll take a 6. Now we'll wait for 9s. There goes Palantir, Neil. It looks like all these ideas today, and we just talked about it, they're really working out. So far, so good on a day like this.
Yeah, breaking out again is Apple at 228. So I said I'd take it a couple of times. So the first break doesn't work. The second break just churned into that 20 level. There's sellers at the quarters on Apple right now, so it looks like it's going to run into a little bit of chop. Let me zoom it out for you a little bit here. This is what you're running into, and if you come out on the other end of it, you have a lot of room to 235. Do I think it gets to 235 today? Probably not, but that doesn't necessarily matter. As long as it moves momentum in the first dollar, we'll take some out in the next couple of legs in front of 40 and then in front of 50, then hold for that absolute top. Double checking on Meta quickly. Did not. Okay, let's say we're not getting 540 back there again. So 540 on Meta ends up being clearly better than Apple. Oosh. That kind of speaks for itself. Still disappointing, but for everyone out there, Meta, there is your high on the 52-week. 545, $1 away on Meta. So Meta break better than the Apple break, unquestionably. Apple just sort of happened to get there first. And when you have a couple of planes that you like, one of them's going to be better than the other. I've adjusted plan on Peloton. It's like if it's going to squeeze, instead of just taking it and then having a ridiculously tight stop, I see this prior high at 75. I'm long at 93. Either it breaks out the top and I hold through, or it breaks 75 and we'll just give it the range to this high and hang on for dear life. Adara?
This is the 15-minute chart here for Faraday Futures, popping up. Nice bit of volume spike here as well with no news. Try to get that $4 level here for FFIE, 10.6% short float, and it runs rather frequently, guys.
All right, we are we're on it now, man. I mean, just like Neil said, we didn't even look at that Apple trade because we had Palantir. So that like happened, and then Neil was like, oh my God, we just broke on that level. So we should have been there. So we're there now on long for Apple. And again, we'll take some shares and we'll try to scalp some out like we always do. My offer right now, I thought we had an offer upside, but I guess I did not. So we're going to put an offer now in and around that 35, 36, 37 area. We'll go way to 37s. That's the high. So we'll see if we can get out there as Apple now trying to come back in a little bit. Look, we've really hit good longs here. We're actually out now of 60% of our Palantir because it got into that 10 and 12 area. So that was part of the plan, was to get a little bit out as the NASDAQ pulls back through. Remember, the NASDAQ is at 20,000. We've already tweeted that out before. So now, yeah, exactly. So now we're starting to retrace underneath that level. So here comes Apple. Take a fill back there at 228. We like this fill. We just got to figure out where we're going to get out, 227.50 or so if we dip back in. But here goes Apple. We're now in this properly through 228. So now let's wait to see what happens on Apple. We're long at 12s.
Yeah, that one that lost at 228. The best fill I got was like 33, I think, on the top side. I'm hunting for VWAP back in here if we can grab it. VWAP's sitting all the way at 227.5. I feel like that's going to be the dip spot. As long as we're underneath 20,000 on the dips, I kind of want to get better prices than where it broke out. Unless we break that 20,000, then we can go up top. Let's go to Adara. It's 10 o'clock. What's happening now?
Getting the existing home sales and change in existing home sales here. So existing home sales for July coming in higher than expectations, 3.95 million versus consensus here of 3.93, forecast of 3.9 in the previous print of 3.9. In terms of existing home sales change here month over month for July, coming in exactly in line with the consensus estimate here, 1.3% to the upside. Forecast here, negative 0.5%. And this is obviously this number here above the June print here, negative 5.1% there for existing home sales month over month for July. We have the S&P 500 now after those nice pushes up, falling a little bit lower here, definitely within this range here between about 562 and 563 for the market. We do have a lot to keep an eye on in terms of economic data with the Jackson Hole Symposium going on right now tomorrow at 10 a.m. So this time tomorrow we'll be getting comments from Fed Chair Powell. We had some comments here coming from some Feds earlier that were generally a little bit more dovish. Fed's Harker saying, quote, on board with the September cut if data comes in as expected there. Couple of earnings names to watch out for still. Snowflake down more than 11% despite a pretty strong report here, though we do have some analysts including Baird and Rosenblatt lowering their price targets for SNOW after the report. Zoom as well, really strong here, up more than 8%, beating both earnings per share and sales expectations and having higher than expected guidance across the board for ZM here, guys.
All right. Yeah, everything over here is going pretty groovy, man. We're going to be up on pretty much everything here. We're not going to be up on NVIDIA, but that's falling right back into this level again. So I'm getting concerned here for a possible reload. I do have an out targeted now for Tesla. If Tesla somehow goes underneath this 222, sorry, we're gone. So we'll take a 12-cent hit, but a $2 winner twice. So that'll work out math-wise. Math, we love math. So far, so good on that one. Palantir, I'm kind of thinking about adjusting. We are sitting here at 83s. I was going to get out on a 75 break, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. Might want to take a little bit more rate now on Palantir in case this is only the dip, but we're still waiting at 85 for a little bit more. Look, there it is. So the market could fall out here. There's no doubt. Those numbers were not great. That's why we've cleaned out of everything. We're out of Tesla right now. We just got into more NVIDIA. This was a level that we wanted, was 129. So let's just have a quick look to see now where NVIDIA is going. We're long, we're long here at 25s. We're actually in the money there on NVIDIA, but it is a scary little slope now as NVIDIA is trying to make me a lot of money by going back up, but we'll wait to see what happens now with NVIDIA. 129 long. That's what we wanted. We're in it now. Let's see if it wants to go. It's NVIDIA, hopefully back higher.
Yeah, there was no 115 on Snowflake, but it's now doing a higher low here. So we wanted Snowflake on an SSR bounce at 120. No never got to 115, only other level, so that's a no. It bounced off 18.5, and then you've got this little support higher low that it's putting in there to try to get to VWAP. So this is one I want to be on multiple times today. We talked about that. So 119, want to make sure we have our stop in because I don't want to have a stop at 115 because it gets to 115. That's going to be all hell breaking loose. AMD, want to see if we can get VWAP again on that one. What is Peloton doing? Peloton's still chilling right at $3.90. Contemplating if Peloton breaks the high, it's going to be an add on that one. So the only new position right now is going to be Snowflake for the second time through on a higher low. Peloton's going to try and break 4. I think it might be an add this way through, just giving it a little bit more room this time. But Snowflake is the one that we got to watch out for right in here at this $19 level.
Oh, man, guys. It's happening. Here goes NVIDIA again. Let's take some more out. Bang. We're going to go green on NVIDIA in a couple seconds here. This is going to be a monster. There goes Apple right now, too. Let's keep going back up to the upside, man. And I know what you're saying there, Adam. Real sees real, but this is real trading. And I see you as well. Look at Palantir coming back into the upside again. Let's go, Patrick. This is a nice trade right now for PLTR. As it goes, it goes, it goes. We're at the highest spot we've been at today. We're going to go 4 for 4, 5 for 5. Apple, NVIDIA, Palantir, Tesla. That's only 4, my guy. 4 right now, trying to get back up to the upside. Palantir position pending, though. We do have a nice little winner right now on it. We just got some out at 98s twice. Let's wait at 97 for another fill. See if we get that again. Long at 88s. We talked about this dip buy into VWAP. That's exactly what we want to do. So far, man, it is very good. But we're waiting for more. So Apple just took out up there. We still have a decent amount of shares on Apple. This market is... like, all these positions will easily go and fade off. Like, we just fell off 20,000. This is why I'm trying to get out, man. We don't want to be too long underneath VWAP, and it's underneath VWAP right now. So let's just take advantage of basically all of these plays and just start to get some out. Like, NVIDIA has been the golden ticket. Once again there. 129 long, man. Stick to your plan, Stan. Right now it is, and it's a pretty easy one today for the trophy. So today's a very, very big trophy day over here with these names. So let's keep that in mind and make sure that we continue to appreciate sort of what we've been able to do here and not try to slip up too much as we get into this move. So right now it's a big day here, and I just hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. There it goes, Neil. Palantir. I don't know what's going on over there, but over here, man, we're putting up numbers.
Yeah, you know what? I might have the first red day. We'll see what happens. But we had AMD 3 times. Third time might be the charm. My style of trade, and you'll always see me do this. If I get into position here, I'm never not getting out when it breaks my stop here. If I'm shorting it underneath that level, when it breaks out above, no. When it breaks out above, no. But if it's going to hold on to the trend, I'm going to be willing to get back into it. So if it sets up again, then I'm going to take the trade again. Now, I do want to respect 157 down here as support all afternoon. So if we get to 157 station to station, we'll take $1.50 on that one. But we did have that short a couple times with stop outs, and then the market finally decided it wanted to follow through. So we have to get out of that one down at that level. Apple's pulling right back into VWAP. So we're waiting for VWAP on Apple. You guys can see the black chart here. That's VWAP right there on Apple. So I just dipped in off that pre-market high. Breaks VWAP, we get out. So the out is going to be in place. I already have my stop in place. Let's see what happens with AMD. I wanted something else to hunt for that was a short. AMD is the only thing that I came up with. The other play, I suppose, could have been right back to the well with Intel. So that's Intel. No chase. It's dead again and would have been an easy short. Every single time I'm looking for shorts, it should be the first place that we look. The market definitely wanted to drop in here. So let's see what Apple does off of VWAP in there. The breakout never went more than like 35 cents. That was it. The 228 break went 35 pennies. That's the best you could have gotten. Let's see if the bounce off VWAP can be any better. If there even is a bounce with this market bleeding back in here. Going to look for some more short ideas because we didn't have many of them this morning.
No, there is not. We just got Apple just dips down below exactly 227.50. So there's the drop down on that one as well. And then NVIDIA's come right back to play. And we talked about this, man. This is the risk about being in everything when you're underneath VWAP, which is why we're starting to very much lighten up on all of those trades. I mean, we even talked about Palantir, like, oh my gosh, this is up here at 33, right? Hit the outs, hit the outs, hit the outs. So far, so good there on Palantir. Not so far, so good. I mean, we'd rather be higher than where we are, but it's holding out so far. We're going to get out if it breaks 75. So that's going to be a key little level there for us on Palantir, trying to break through 75 right now. So we'll watch out for that. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And then right now, NVIDIA, this is the only other name that we have on board. We're going to wait for a little bit of a lower break, but not too much lower than where we are right now, as it's going to get hit. We're down right now 30 cents on NVIDIA, well, 20 cents. But it looks like it wants to break, and there it goes through 79. So that was going to be our stop. Maybe should we be waiting for 75s? Maybe no. There it goes. So that's okay. So now everything's starting to crack lower. So we talked about it being underneath VWAP. The market's just trying to go. We warned about this 20,000. Could have been short. Should have been maybe looking at the TQQs. But where is there going to be a stopping spot right now? Look at NVIDIA. Like, this is why when it breaks, it's like, you got to get out, man. Our worst days have been where we've been sitting there. And again, we talk about trading bigger shares. If you're trading bigger shares, you got to get the heck out of Dodge when that does happen, right? So there it goes. A nice move down for NVIDIA and for the market. Thinking about getting some longs, though, if we go out too much down, because I feel like
Meta still above 540.
Meta, okay, well, that's what I mean. So let's find some strong names now, maybe.
Meta's
if
strong.
We're going to try to go long, but the market dripping in. We played off this 50 period before. That 71.60 coming into play maybe now on the TQQs.
So Meta's magically above $540. It's still above the breakout price. That's about the only thing that's looking good right now. Hold on a second. Let me go over to AMD. AMD's catching a bit of a bid down here. Just had it up. I mean, 157 was target. This is right around that close price from yesterday. Came pretty darn close. Usually I would have a trail in, and we're at 19.9 on the NASDAQ as well. So if you're right at afternoon support, if it bounces from here and 19.9 bounces, Meta looks like the strong stock if you're looking for a long. But if we're going to get bounced in the market, I want to see if we can take this one out. Look for a VWAP retracement. All right, we're back underneath the 50s. That would indicate put trail back above the 50 level and then move on to the next, just in case we do get that bottom down in here. So the trail's in on that one. Peloton's still not doing anything crazy. Now that NVIDIA is gone, I looked over for like Micron to see if we could actually find something over here.
Good job, Patrick.
And that one is well underneath. You can't get any breaks on some of these late names. It seems like they've already sort of fallen through. Either you're already short when these suckers broke, or now you're waiting for something a little bit adjacent, like a pullback into prior resistance. AMD was the only one I liked, so AMD is the only one we got right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 traders, one positive. It's Patrick. Congratulations, Patrick. I mean, I hate to say that because everybody else, that means including us, will be in Redsville. But we will say congratulations to Patrick. And again, stick to your guns, baby. Good trade there, Patrick. All right, we went long on Disney right here at 90.25. We get some out at 90.31. That was literally the high. I actually thought we were putting it at 36. We made a keystroke error. Down here to 40s. I mean, if we can get that long, that'll be good. Watch out for Disney now. 89.98 coming through there. So we will push that as our stop for DIS. Yeah, good call on NVIDIA there. It did go to the downside. Palantir's really having itself a problem now as we come right back into the open. So again, in and out there on Palantir. Be flat on that stock, but looking to see about a move now on PLTR. I thought a break higher I would want, but we are continuing to go downside now. All right, well, we get that TQQ fill, so watch out now. This is that sort of that fill that we had talked about here on the TQQs. You know, down into 60s was sort of another area. So if this breaks through 71.48s or so, like we don't want to 20 to 30 cents or so on this is enough. We have the Fed speaking right now, so obviously that's going to affect said NASDAQ and all these kind of plays. So, you know, just be careful if you're in some of these names. Make sure you have your stop orders out right now, but we're in TQs. That's starting to go back there to the upside. And again, man, Sean, Trade the futures one more time, Sean. Just keep doing that, my guy. I mean, here we go. It's a nice little bounce off of the TQQs right there. So we put that in our pipe and smoke it, Neil. That's going to be a good little trade there as well. So there it goes. There goes Disney. We finally get that. There's that 36 that we thought we got filled on the first place. We get filled again on that one. And there it goes, man. We are back, baby. We're trading the futures again. So we'll see if we can drop down some cash as we called this bottom, coming right back in there. We take it, and there it goes. Good trading here on the TQQs.
Yeah, great look on that bottom. I just tried to get, remember Meta was strong and tried to pick up, but we just got it. Meta just came into VWAP here, that $540 level. So the market is breaking lower. The only stock I was looking at above VWAP, still above its breakout price and all of the bullish things that you would look for, is going to be a Meta. Ended up getting out of AMD, unfortunately. AMD, it did. I said I put my stop in there, or trail, I should say, at 157.5. It broke back above, got about to 65, and then dumped into that 157 target area. The chip names are looking weak, but there is a bounce happening in one of them, and it happens to be NVIDIA. I feel like when you have a wick, and we talked about this the other day in the lesson of the day, when you have like a false breakout above previous highs, a lot of times look for that same level to be resistance on the way back in. It also happens to be VWAP. 129.5 might be a short spot for me on that. I prefer AMD, but in lieu of that, NVIDIA could be it. So bounce on Meta. Meta wasn't necessarily a part of the initial plans for a dip buy. It was supposed to be a breakout through 540, but now we're long on a dip buy at that same price. Let's see if the market can continue up here. 545 is that all-time high on Meta. So this current top is the target. Got to be scalping out in front of it.
We got a big trade here on the TQQs, man. The futures right now, this is about a 30 handle or so move. So we'll take it up to 72. We're taking some outs right now. Man, we've battled back nicely, man. Patrick, I'm coming to join you, my guy. Here we go. Over to Adara.
Here we are getting some comments from Feds Harker, said to speak at 10 a.m. Not something that was initially seen here on the calendar, but we do have Feds Harker saying that his business contacts want apparently a methodical course of rate cuts, and Feds Harker saying that they should actually be starting the process of rate cuts and keep it moving. So Feds Harker saying, quote, we should start the process of rate cuts and keep it moving. Though he does say he's not in the camp of the 25 basis points or 50 basis points cut. He wants to see more data first. So kind of repeating a lot of what we heard from the Feds, but worth noting that he's saying that we should be starting the process of rate cuts.
He is, I don't know if Disney's liking those rate cuts or not, but right now we got a good one here for DIS. Is that starting to go upside a little bit now? So Disney would take them out at 45s. Now we'll wait. We got another 50 order, and then we go a little bit higher than that. Let's see if these futures actually want to go up. We'll take one more piece out here at 80. I tried 87s. I think we got 88s right there. So far, so good. Let's see if we can get climbing back into VWAP or so. 72.30s target here or so. Let's put an offer in for us on the TQQs. Good trading over here on the futures so far.
Yeah, this market, here we go, back to 19.9. Gonna have to watch. I was gonna mention Peloton, but I gotta go back over to Meta. Peloton creeping right back to that $4 level. There is a heavy offer at 1, 3, and 5 on the offer of Peloton, so I have not added to that one until it chews through that. Still hold on to VWAP for Meta as the market's pulling back into some lows, but if it breaks that, then we're going to jump out of it. Only thing going upside right now I'm looking at over here is Peloton. Everything else is breaking back into the downside, unfortunately. So we're going to go over, if we lose 540, we're out. AMD, no pop, no chance. Doesn't look like it wants to get back up to VWAP or anything like it. So I'm not chasing any bottoms in here on this particular name. So let's be very, very careful about what we try to get in. This is one that'll be frustrating for me. I like one short idea and only end up 1 for 3 on the stock, going for those shorts, and can't seem to find my way back into it. It's absolutely smashing through, but ultimately there's still a couple of things. That 19.9 hold, Meta's holding at least for now. Peloton seems to want this high. It's looking a little bit better, chewing through some of that offer. Now there's a big offer at 6. So there's about 50 to 100,000 every 2 or 3 cents that Peloton has to chew through. And we're trying to get through that high now. We're at 93s long, and I'm looking for a place to add back into it. Haven't really found that spot. Tried to get some 95s. Wanted to get some VWAP, but didn't. If it just ends up breaking the top, I don't want to add on a breakout of Peloton. I just want to give it some room. If it does make the break, there's plenty of opportunity all the way to about 435, 440 on the daily. So there's lots of places you can add if it breaks out the 10s. I'd rather buy the dip.
Yeah, we've done that. We've had that feeling before where it's like, I mean, great trader there on AMD, and what you're trying to do is just make back kind of, you know, that first initial hit that you've had, and that's what I'm doing with NVIDIA. It's like I'm trying to find these longs, but at the same time, if something doesn't sort of piece out for us, we're not going to be there for it. So I'm going to wait on that play. The other play that I was thinking about right now, and I'm going to change it. First of all, Disney, like the mouse, is out the house right now as Disney continues to make moves higher. 90.54, starting to go up, 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 and away. It's this Palantir. I'm going to actually cancel it. I got to reload some of my stop orders now to make sure I don't have too many out there, because I do think a break long on Palantir, if it gets going, could be something again. So I was just looking at this level here, 32. I was thinking like if we could get back above maybe the 70, 71 or so area, we could punch that long back if it goes. I mean, we're making back, honestly, a decent amount here. A lot of it is due to this futures trade. The Disney trade is obviously helping us out, and nothing else. We've done nothing else. We got hit on Apple. We talk about this. We'll go, so that's 0 for 1. We'll go 1 for 2 here with Disney. Another one, 1 for 3. Palantir's flat. TQ's up. So that's 2 and 2, and then 3 and 2, or yeah, Tesla. So up on Tesla, up on the T. Oh no. Okay, AMD, there goes NVIDIA. So NVIDIA just dropped into this level. But again, your boy trades with shares. So if we get this back upside, we will take some more and more out. Let's go NVIDIA, man, just for now. Dropping out some cash on that little bit of a play down there for NVIDIA. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Neil, we could be positive on NVIDIA in just a second. So let's get going back up there to the upside. Great fill for us, 128.26. Tell me you got some, brother.
I'm not. That's not a level I'm looking at on NVIDIA. So if you like the 128, that was not a level for me. NVIDIA was well underneath the support levels that I like. So again, that's not really my style of trade. I got to be honest with you. You kind of try to keep it to your. I'll take that levels, but
let's go.
Yeah, for 30-40 cent bounce, I like it for you for sure. My eyeballs are right now on Peloton. The decision I'm trying to make is: am I breaking out the top on Peloton against my better judgment, or am I still waiting for the dip buy? So right now I'm waiting for the dip buy in Peloton, but it is cresting into this high. I'm long at 93, so if I take a break on this, my price will be 4s, which is not bad. So I might just go ahead and do that, throw the stop underneath the $4 level. We knew Peloton was going to be a focus today for me. I knew Snowflake was going to be a focus. Snowflake was no good. Peloton's trying to take out this high of 21%. I'm going to go for the ad. My average price will be about $4 on this breakout. In fact, if it does break, it has not happened just yet.
All right, guys. I went over to Patrick and I'm like, dude, I'm coming for you. You know, we're trying to get to Greensville right now, and we are one station away right now from that. As NVIDIA, man, that was honestly, that was our biggest trade there, waiting for that 128 to come in. It did, man. So we are now out of almost more than half of that trade. Let's just see if it wants to go out the upside. Our stop is 128. Like, our stop is already in there. So if that can come through, then we'll get stopped out. But we took some money back there on NVIDIA. And here it comes screaming back in again, right? So that's why we take some out when it gets into those 50s, baby. You never know what's going to happen to Derek Killam.
We have here the IWM at lows of days right now, more or less. You're down about 0.5%, weaker than the rest of the market for the Russell 2000. Any support we had earlier today, well below. Try a little bit of a bottoming tail candle coming in these last few 3-minute candles, but generally lower highs and lower lows for the Russell. First small cap gapper today is a name that runs semi-frequently. It's going to be FFIE, Faraday Future. This one near high of day. No news on this, but it does run on and off here. We have a $45 million market cap and a short float of 10.6% for Faraday. We also have your Air Industries Group. This one at pushing into high of day here at more than 100% for AIRI trading on the Amex, announcing a $110 million contract for the production of this thrust strut used in this GTF aircraft jet engine. So $110 million contract for $12 million company there, AIRI. Last but not least, STAF. This one's certainly below day's highs, but still up about 100% right now for staffing 360. New news on this either, but smaller float, about 750,000 share float. 7.5% of that float is sold short. Market cap of just over $1 million for STAF, guys.
All right, we are pennies away. We are almost green. We just got a nice fill on on NVIDIA, trying to get back into greens, but we are steps away from that. Come on, man, getting motivated here again today, and we are getting reloaded. Thank you so much, Rob, for that. We've now got hot hands coming in a second. It still remains pretty chilly around here, but these trades have been hot fire, so that's been really helping out right now. So let's go, man. Nice move on that one. If this market really goes back up, man, I like that option on Meta. I know you've taken a swing at Peloton. Hopefully that continues to go higher now as well. But, oh, man, I feel like we're just going to sit here and enjoy this cup of joe, because if NVIDIA goes, this is going to be a real special day, man. It went from like, uh-oh, to oh yeah, right now as we go. So we've talked about a tale of two stories here, but we are starting to get going now on NVIDIA. Let's get the love back on this market, Neil. What a comeback we've had over the last little while, man. We were like, no, we weren't at the bottom. We were nowhere near that. But now we're starting to make those moves. So we're starting to get going here. Some good dip buy opportunities. You just got to stay with the strong names. Shorts have been pretty hot though early. That's for sure.
Can't find any new ones, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, is finding opportunities.
Yeah, I can't find any good new shorts. I'm not. We had one short idea, and it's frustrating because usually I'm gonna have. Oh, I like this stock long, I like this stock short, but I didn't have anything except for AMD, and now I'm not punching bottoms on it. It's that simple. A lot of times you want to go back to the well, like what are your original ideas? And Snowflake as an SSR bounce has been trash. It's still trending to the downside, so that's no good. Meta's hanging on to VWAP, at least for now. You're seeing bounce off VWAP. Can it break 41? Can't break 41. Can't break 41. I'm offering 42 in here. We'll try the reloads off the 40 level if we can grab them. NVIDIA, for myself, hasn't been successful because the levels I liked are all gone. It's underneath the previous highs. So it was either here or it was down in here at 127.5 for me on NVDA. So just want to try to respect that range. If it makes the bounce and goes back through the top side, I'm going to like it again. So we're hang on to Meta. Peloton, I said if I averaged in, my price would be 40 on a break. So I had some 93s. I took the top break. Our price is still going to be $4. I feel like Meta had to be the right pivot because I don't see anything else looking incredibly strong here in the market. And if we bounce off 19.9, I want to be long a strong stock as opposed to trying to find something which is just trying to get off that bid a little bit here. So we'll try to focus on Meta. Let me know what else you guys are looking at in here. Zach Boone, yeah, 540 level on Meta. That's the one we like. The breakout was clearly this. This was the one you needed to have, but we didn't have it. Now we're starting to head back into the upside. I'm trying to offer on the wrong side of 542, so let's get on the right side of it, which would be underneath. We'll take that leg out, and I'm all out if we get to 544. Station to station, and I'm not assuming that Meta wants to break a fresh high. Not today.
No, let's go Meta, man. Let's go Meta. Right now, guys, we are well into the Greensville again. We did it. Thank you, Zoltan, man. There it is. What's up, Timon? Everybody, coffee trader. It's about having that confidence. I turned over to this guy, and I was down a decent amount. Patrick gives a lot of love to this, right? There's a lot of love on the midday. We talk about that. There's a lot of love on our show. I want to thank you to everybody who's doing that as well. But at the same time, you want to look for a strong stock. What about Disney? Boom, to the upside. We got it. Man, look at this NVIDIA. Huge move now. It's a $1 winner for NVIDIA. Remember I said we were red on NVIDIA? Not no more. There it goes back up there to the upside. And as Neil said, not everybody's going to be sitting there taking these trades. You got to take what's good for you. And I mean, that's good for you. I mean, that's good for everybody. You just got to be sitting there taking it. So there's good opportunities abound in this marketplace. Look what's happened to the TQQs. I mean, what? Like, all we have to do is have one trade on today. And we just should have been patient for it. We did not reload it. Instead of reloading TQs, we obviously put the damage on the board with NVIDIA, but this was a monster move. So this TQ's handle move right there, that is 19,890 up there. So right now it's 30 plus 35 handles in the money on this trade. I like it. I like this trade. Let's see if it continues to work. We said our target was 30s. Obviously, we're still going to sit there and see if we can grab that, but we just got a 15 fill right there on the TQQs. What a runner that's been. Disney continues to work out, man. NVIDIA, we'll probably get back to this 130. So for me right now, 129.50, another target for the out, man. What a good day it's been, guys. I know we've been going through a lot of different names. Oh my, I forgot the Palantir break. They're at 70. My bad. Let's buy some 70. Okay, well, there it goes. Let's buy some 71s there. I liked this kind of a break higher. We are flat on Palantir today. So we'll have to wait to see if this name wants to go back. We're long at 71, fine. This is kind of the break that we wanted, back above the 200 period moving average. Hey man, judge for the trades that we're showing you guys. And if you want to ask us, you see our things at the bottom. You want to talk about any name. I know they have that segment, and I'm not trying to steal it from the midday. But if there's anything you guys want to ask us about, put it in the chat. Any of our past trades, anything really. Here comes Palantir. If we can get some 75s, we'll do that. And then we'll wait a little bit higher at 80 just to start to take some pieces out. But so far, so good here, man. Let's see if NVIDIA wants to carry the day even further.
Yeah, this market's trying to hold this 19.9. There's a good question in the chat there. Hamster1, how is the QQQ and the VIX green? How is volatility? Like usually, like I know there's that whole inverse relationship between volatility and the overall market, but it's not that simple. Like there's no such thing as a rule that is true 100% of the time in the market. That's number one. The other thing is you have to remember, like this UVXY, by the way, I could pull up a trading view to get the actual VIX, but it's the same looking chart. It's like a flag up here. So really, you've got flag down, flag up. So it's not as if they're completely counterposed. So as far as I'm concerned, if this breaks out the top, maybe you get a reversal in the market. I'm going to be looking at this with the same judgment on the stock that I like for a long. Like if we turn at the high on UVXY and start flushing, then I might just say no reload on Meta at 540. But until that's not the case, this is the stock that was working. It just turned at 542. I like this high as a target to get there, but just because you like a target doesn't mean it's going to go. So if we're breaking fresh highs on volatility, maybe I don't want to reload at 540, but that's been the one that's starting to work in here for a long dip buy at the level I like. And when that's the case, I want to stick to that stock, at least for now. Still, I mean, AMD does not retrace anywhere to give an entry to the short. I looked over at Intel. I'm like, okay, is this anywhere down where I would short it? This sucker's at the last area of support that I had, $1 away this morning. So it's actually bouncing off a support level. I certainly don't want to short that at a level of support. So I'm going to have to be patient. If I want to short a pop in something, like something has to actually pop. The two stocks I like for a pop are not there. So I'm just in Peloton, still at the 4. It's at 407. Still hasn't really blown out that top to get to 420. But let's see what's going on in the world of crypto at the desk.
Yeah.
Setting update here in the world of Ethereum ETFs. This was reported yesterday here, but we actually have the first Ethereum ETF to cross the $1 billion level in net inflows, and that is going to be BlackRock with their ETHA ETF here. They actually have $860 million in net assets through that ETF. So there are some more assets here, though, in Grayscale as ETH and the Ethereum Trust, your ETHE. Regardless, though, ETHA having the highest net inflows. So really good look there for BlackRock with that ETF. Bitcoin at a couple really interesting levels here. Nice support of that 58,000 level on the daily chart. And we're curling into an area of pretty interesting resistance and interaction on the BTC daily chart. It's going to be that 62,000 level. Not just here in the chart, but I was reading as well, a lot of crypto-related analysts saying the 62,000 level could be pretty key. If there's any push above that, could be a bit of a short squeeze move. So we can see these wicks above that level. Let's see what we do at 62,000 should we get there. Right now, Bitcoin about halfway here to the 61,000 level, about 60.5 here for BTC, up about 1.5%. Ethereum holding on to 2,600. The rest of these names here largely green. We have BNB up 6%, Solana up 1.33%, Ripple up 1%, Dogecoin up 1.5%. We do have some outliers, notably Toncoin and Tron here to the downside, guys.
So
like we either broke the bottom here or what?
UVXY broke that top, didn't reload Meta. Meta lost 540 and is going to the downside pretty quickly. So at least we didn't reload that one. That's about all I can say. The shorts are starting to come in here. And oh my goodness, you could have just shorted every single bottom. That I'm like, I'm not shorting the bottom. So that could have been the play. AMD just did that.
Here we go.
NVIDIA is about to retest that 128.5. What is going on right now? New fresh lows. All right, Peloton's not doing anything. It doesn't seem to care what the market is doing at this moment. But everything is fading off of these highs. Looking back on over to Apple, Apple hasn't broken its low with any gusto just yet, but it feels like it's going to have that opportunity to do so. The only positive trade for me on Apple was oddly enough the breakout. The dip buy is no good. The irony of that being true is ridiculous to me. That a break of the top was actually the easiest trade because you got a quick little scalp out, and every dip buy has been a fail in that one. The market is heading to the downside here. Tesla underneath 220 alert on that, so it can't hold on to some support. If I'm not shorting any highs or so I'm not shorting any lows, I got to sit back, look for some support to come in, look for some resistance to set up, because the short that I want ain't there, and these things are flying into the downside. At least, it is what it is. Peloton, being a squeeze name, got out of the 93, some here, and then added to it to get an average price of 4, stop underneath 4, trying to break 420 in here. The initial break on Peloton, no good. It was more about just getting the dip buys on that stock, but the market now really starting to flush to the downside. There was nothing that hit the wire.
Not that I saw.
Absolutely nothing hit the wire. It's just your garden variety market down day.
Yeah, for sure. So about that, congratulations, Patrick remains the only green trader here because we took a hit right there on Palantir. So Palantir did come in right there. We were trying the long. We tried it again. Like, look, we're one move away from getting back into the Greensville here. But also NVIDIA, I'm going to take a little bit of a dip buy. This is not going to be a maximum position at this level. We are going to wait for 128 to come in again right there. I just feel like we should have been a little smarter there and tried to fade that. We were able to get out of the way of the TQs. We're back into this play right now. See if we can get a little bit higher. We're long at 51s. We're able to take some out, great. But the futures did fall down there. We did take our last little reload there at 60 and out at 50, as we said. But right now, we'll see if there is going to be potentially a little bit of a relief rally. But, we're just going to stick with the names that we've been doing well on. TQs is going to be, your P&L number 1 today will be Tesla. Your P&L number 2 will be Disney. Your P&L number 3 will be the TQQs. And then after that, man, it's going to be NVIDIA that tries to get back to Greensville, which on that little last rebuy might help. So we'll see if we can offer some 70s right now and get it back up to the upside. So over here, we'll have a mixed day. We will be green, but not by much. It's been a pretty mixed day here so far. We're just going to, look, we could be green by a lot if these stocks want to get back up to the upside. What a great hold and reload there on the TQQs. We always say this, man, just do what you're doing best. And we already know what we do best. And we're just going to keep on doing that every single day. And hopefully you guys can see some of what we're doing here as well. Palantir, I wanted to hold it against 50, man. It broke. Palantir makes not new lows because the new low would have been 40. But again, too much risk down there to hold on to it. So we're out of Palantir. Boo on that one. But there we go. Some nice moves up. Disney still holding. NVIDIA, we just got that trade on NVIDIA. And this is the thing, Neil. We're just sly about it. It's like we're almost positive now on NVIDIA. Like that little dip buy right there was long at 40s, out there at 75s. So it's like a quick little 35-cent scalp on shares, makes a lot of sense and makes a lot of dollars. And then as we keep on saying, you can't make money in this market, honestly, unless you hold things. So we're going to try to do that. Here comes the TQQs. There goes NVIDIA. We're scalping out pretty much every time of like 70, 80%. But I'm trying to get better at holding. Patrick, we've rejoined you, buddy, as there it goes right now, back up there to the upside, and we just stay diligent, man. We'd be on his neck right now if we had Palantir still, but we dropped that one there at the bottom, so let's keep on going to the upside. And of course, look, Patrick and I are just having some fun. It doesn't, you got to trade your own book. I'm not concerned with anything, just having fun here. Let's hope that we can keep it going. And then it's also about the good vibes. Right? And I hear it on the midday show all the time. Daryl will have a 20-cent winner on NVIDIA, and Sharif's like, great trade. It's all about having that relationship, having those vibes, and keeping it positive for you guys too, right? If we're sitting here just sort of like, we have to be truthful. Some of us might not have winners on. We'll talk about them for losers. You got to be able to stay positive, stay in your grind, stay in your zone, and that's how you can get here. We're almost at the highest spot we've been at all day, and here I am talking all negative Nancy. But let's get back up to the upside right now. We're going to hit out some more NVIDIA. And Neil, there it is again, man. So I know you're Captain Positivity as well. So there it goes. Nice moves up for NVIDIA and the TQQs. What you got going on over there, brother?
One stock working. It's Peloton to the upside, but you got to hunt for the next idea. I'm not liking the trend. I'm not going to pretend that I do to the downside. So I'm trying to figure out, if I don't like a dip buy on a lot of these stocks and it's working, I got to find something else that's going to try to work. So I want to go to what's strong. So Meta seems like it's the one, and here's my issue with Meta. Downward channel since making those highs. So the only play at this point, like you can now confirm this little bit of a down channel, I need it breaking out this top. So what would make sense to me, break this channel up and then look for some kind of a move back into the high, or it simply holds this trend and you're only buying off the bottom of that one. As I said, the only thing I'm in right now is Peloton, and it just held the $4. I'm out in front of 420 again, just because 420 is a level all the time on these stocks, and it is what it is. I don't know why, but $4 is holding. That's where we added, so we have a $4 price, and this one's holding trend to the upside. In the event that 420 breaks, here's what I'm then looking at. There's your higher low since the hold of VWAP. If we break 420, I'm trailing it to this trend line. So connect here at 940 with here at VWAP and that recent hold of $4. I got my 3 points. I got my trend line. In the event that 420 breaks, once it's made a fresh high, my trail goes into that trend line on this particular name. And then from there, I just got to look over and oops, I didn't save my trend line there, but you guys can see it. Lower highs, lower lows on what I thought was going to be the strongest looking stock here on Meta. So we did have a winner on it because we were able to get that first buck and that second buck, but then broke on the last third, that 540 down here. So Peloton looks like you just tagged 418, 420 breaks. I'm throwing that trailing stop that I was just talking about. As far as volatility, VIX, UVXY and VIX did break down below, so the market's looking a little bit better. But I'm still keyed in on here on Meta, and I'm not convinced with these chip names that you're catching a bid just yet. Like, you're not getting off the schneid on AMD. You're not getting off the schneid on Intel just yet. The one that looks the most interesting, I really didn't think this was going to be the case. Intel here, this is a pretty significant higher low. And I did have this marked off, was it last week? This level here, like 2065, which I thought there'd be no chance we'd be playing into support. But it is holding this nice little consolidation. If Intel could just break out this consolidation, I oddly enough like that for a long. It's just look at the risk to reward if it breaks this 80 level and gets to the 21 even. That's about the only thing that I see outside of Meta that I like.
All right, so I mean, just over to the next couple things here. If you guys are looking for it, and again, thanks Zoltan. Zoltan said positive vibes always, and I shared that with our crew here. So thank you so much, Zoltan. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. But before we go over to Adara over there, because that's very, very important. Uh-oh, someone slid into my DMs here. All right, just quickly here. All right, this is what we're talking about. There's the Disney 90 long came through, right? We'll have to look at Mara down there. NVIDIA long. Now, the thing about this is we'll be flat on NVIDIA, but we've only been going long, trying to find that dip buy. We'll talk about some of these mistakes that we've had early and some of the great trades that we've had late. IBIT and BTC also there. Go find me right now. 3,000 views, pretty light today on that. Go over, have a look at Sticky Note, and it's there every single day. And look what Disney's doing right now. Disney's just trying to barcode, so I just wanted to bring this up because we are getting some more out. I mean, these TQs, P&L number one right now is the TQs, but this position pending. So I want higher. So hopefully it goes there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Tesla is going to be the big trade of the day. And this was a long despite it being down. So you got to sort of like massage those plays. Palantir, man, oh man. Tale of two stories today because we really like the stock. We will be down on it. We're not down that much on it, but we are down after going long and hitting it and then being flat there and then somehow losing on these dips. We got stopped out at the very bottom there as well. So some dust flying around here. As we say, bless you one more time, but the market's starting to go back up to the upside. Believe it or not, we're almost at the highest spot we've been at all day. So that would be good if that happens. Over to the screen there. It's funny, Adara was wearing green, but seems to be no effect on the green screen.
Nope.
Not a lot of green here in these sectors. The sectors where we do have a little bit of strength are generally still going to be a little bit muted or mixed. Health technology here, we have Eli Lilly. This one at 970 at one point here. They're still up on the day, but we also have some weakness in Pfizer and Moderna to offset that. So a little bit more of a mixed sector. We also have some strength here to talk about, of course, with Meta in communication services, but the rest of the sector not really feeling that effects with some of these other cybersecurity names like CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks, a little bit mixed as well as we got those Snowflake earnings last night. Other sectors pretty mixed here to flat include finance, producer manufacturing a little red, energy minerals totally flat even after those EIA numbers, health services flat, process industries, consumer non-durables. Retail trade though, we had some earnings yesterday, a little bit of strength in some of these names like TJX and Walmart, but generally theme of the day is a lot of these names trying to figure out their direction here, as are the sectors, guys.
Yeah, you have it's an oddly mixed board, but then you have to remember, despite the move down, the Nasdaq is exactly flat.
That's the problem.
The Nasdaq is 0.03 to the downside. So it's like you're up in the air which way we're going to go at this point, even though it feels like it's been a rip your face off. We just failed 20,000. We broke 20,000 and then we failed 20,000 and we're holding right around the aftermarket lows. So the next thing I wanted to see, as I said, was going to be if Meta holds this channel to the upside or downside, I should say, breaking it back out. It's just wicked 541 in here, so you're getting a bit of a consolidation above the previous trend. So 541 would be that trend support. Peloton is still, let's go over to Peloton here. It's still holding that, who cares? It's still holding that 420 level. And then the other thing I want to keep a very close eye on is UVXY. So you've pulled back off of this false break in volatility right back into a support level. If this breaks down, it's punch long, strong stock and look to see if you're holding back into some of those previous lows. That's held pretty true, that relationship between volatility and the overall market at this point. Zoom, congratulations to anyone that took that breakout at 63.5, 64. It is absolutely gone and still trending to the upside. You know what? Every now and then, you can have an idea on a stock, but when I looked at the two earnings plays this morning, I said, do I want to take a shot at an SSR bounce play on Snowflake being as big as it is, or do I want to take a breakout on Zoom? I elected to go for, let's take a bounce play on Snowflake. Snowflake ends up continuing to the downside. The Zoom breakout about as clean as you're ever going to see. And there was never a moment where this breaking 63.5 went against you. Heck, you could have taken an even $1.64 break if you're just mirrored to those types of plays. So let the market do its little bit of a dance here. Unfortunately, as I just pointed out, that volatility, UVXY bounces off of VWAP instead of breaking it. So without that breakdown, not going to be rushing into this trade yet in Meta. Nicely holding, but it's 10:45. No need to rush into any plays just yet. Oh. I don't even. Pocket. Always in the pocket. Yeah, it's a flat market, Scalper Jay. No questions asked. And when it's a flat market, or we're at a decision point, inflection point, I should say, like those futures, like we're seeing up there in UVXY, I think all you got to do is position yourself with the stock that you know you want next. And if it sets up, go ahead and take it. So that's why I'm on here with Meta. Simple story. If we lose this channel back in, don't want it. If it holds this channel above, break down in UVXY, go long Meta. That's my plan. Sticking to it, although there is that adjacent move on Intel now bouncing right off that pretty support line that we have.
We could go, I mean, it's such a fickle situation, right? I mean, because of the way we trade, we can be, basically up or down at any minute. I mean, I'm sure that's probably the way most of you guys trade there. You put on a trade, and if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, not great. We had some trades not work for us today. We had some NVIDIA trades not work that were trying to go. I mean, they were fine. We were pretty fine on it until it eventually broke this 129 area. The 129 is the area that we were concerned about. This is the sticky note level. Once it broke it, we got out. But then look at this buy, 128.30. That went upside again. We took 80, 90 cents on the top. Then it fell back in. We reloaded it again. We don't have that many outs on this reload. You guys saw me punch that. It's this trade right there that is the whole, pretty much the whole day for me. Like if we don't, not the whole day, but if we don't have that, then we don't get back into the level, right? So it does take ideas. And it does take sort of looking at a stock and trying to figure out where are my punch out levels, what levels do I want to try to respect and hold on to, and what levels are worth dumping. We generally do a pretty good job of that, and I feel like we did that again here today. I mean, look at this Apple trade, and this is how you stay in the pocket of it, right? It's like this dropped out through VWAP, breaks 227.50, and we get out. Now we're not in it while this is happening. So it's like you got to have some ideas, make that money when it's there. And now we go back over and I look and say, hey, Sean, you wrote down 226 as a possible level for Apple coming in. Well, we didn't think the market would do this today, but it's only down 0.14. So as I sit here and try to talk myself into more trades, the market's falling in. And it's just a matter of, do you want to support the levels that have held so far? This is 226.35 or so. I don't want to see a break through it, but I do feel like there is an opportunity. Okay, now we're huge again, all of a sudden. All right, I don't know, this NVIDIA just popped in. Let's go, NVIDIA. Shine, Neil, shine right now. As NVIDIA trying to go back up to the upside right now. Bang, we do the same thing again, Neil. That's exactly what we're talking about. Nice upside move there for NVIDIA. As, yeah, buddy, we just said maybe you sit there and you can't find anything. Trade with us. Hopefully you'll find lots. There it is, man. Follow Neil, the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road. No, that's how it goes.
Right.
Good look there. The market is heading down.
My bad.
The stock I wanted.
Wow, NVIDIA, let's go.
See the plan of action? It breaks the channel down. I don't go long. It's that simple. I had one play that I was looking for. That was a hold. We break to the downside in here, so I don't want to step out in front of that one as it's going into the downside. I don't know what's going on with Faraday Future, everybody. But maybe Randy put another buy call on Faraday. It's up 45% and absolutely flying.
Randy.
This is now through $5. Remember, it reverse split. So yeah, it was a penny stock before. I'm going to say it was 25 or 30 to 1 or something like that. But it's now through those highs at $5. Watch out for a potential halt here on Faraday Future. The only thing I got right now is that $4 on Piton. It's at 420. That still hangs out in the money. I'm still looking for the next play. Here is the halt on FFIE. I'm going to try and pick up some on the halt and throw a stop at the $5 level if we're able to get it. So Faraday making power moves on no news. Probably just a bunch of social media hype. Nope, no fail.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So, yeah, NVIDIA, someone said in there in the chat, NVIDIA is...
It's all about style, Hans.
Is conflicted. Yeah, what are you saying, Hans? What does Hans have here? You can address it. Go ahead. I didn't.
No, it was just here. It basically just he's saying NVIDIA barely moves. It's all about style. If you're breaking 128 and it goes up to 25 and you have a 5-cent stop, it's still 5 to 1. I understand on a prop floor it's very different because on a prop floor we can take 1 million trades and pay almost no fees outside of pass-through fees on gateways and stuff like that. So you have to keep that in mind when you're looking at active trading because it'll be different for everybody. So you got to trade in your own style. Let me just cancel. I don't want to get that Faraday fill out there when it reopens. I was trying to get a fill before it halted. So I don't want to be buying a random price when the stock reopens. I wanted it right there. Let's go over to, I think we're going to Adara. Peloton just made a fresh high. It's the only thing I got left on here because Meta ain't setting up anymore. Let's go to the desk.
Let's go.
Shoot.
Before we get to the money talks, just to confirm, no news on Faraday Futures. Lots of social media interest for Faraday Futures. As I said as well there, 10.6% short float. Highlighted that one in the small cap recap. So FFIE, no news. Social media attention. DXY, nice little bullish engulfing candle starting to form here on the daily chart after 4 days of a pretty strong sell-off for the U.S. dollar. We did get some economic data this morning at 8 a.m. We got these jobless claims coming exactly in line with expectations, slightly higher here than the prior number. Existing home sales slightly above here, actually, the estimates for July and above the prior number, 3.95 million versus estimates of 3.94 million and the prior number of 3.9 million. Also worth noting, we had Fed's Harker speak at 10 a.m. This was not something that was initially on the calendar here. So Fed's Harker speaking that there could likely be some kind of rate cut soon, and there should be some moves soon, should data hold up, but also saying that the course of action is more important than the size of the move. So specifically noting that it doesn't really matter at this point to Fed Harker if it's a 25 basis cut or 25 basis point cut or a 50 basis point cut. What's going to matter more is the course of the action. That's what apparently Fed Sarkar's business contacts are looking forward to as well here. So some interesting notes with regards to that. Tomorrow, even more interesting, 10 a.m., so under 24 hours from now, we'll get comments from Fed Chair Powell at the Jackson Hole Symposium. Pretty light day tomorrow for economic data. Other than that, we will get the new home sales at 10 a.m. And at 1 p.m. today, watch out for the 30-year TIPS note auction, guys.
Thank you very much, Adara. So you see my price changing on Peloton. I had 93s, and then it broke out the top and took out, I think it was like 410. So I think it would have been like 411 that I added to. So my price is going to stay 08. Once I'm all out of the 393s, you'll see my price reflected with the second entry. That's just how it works here, first in, first out. But my average price was $4 effectively. If we get to here on the daily, that's a 200-period moving average at 435. I just got another tick at 27s on the way to that level. I have one more offer out in front of that 200-period moving average. So that's the last offer I'm going to have. When we get to that 200-period moving average, play it by ear. It's just a line on a chart. Actual resistance is at 450. So if we break out 35s, I'd hold into 450 if this one tries to go. I'm going to have the market keeps going to the down, and the market keeps going down.
I'm going to switch up the
Intel's not falling anymore, so if the market continues to make fresh lows and Intel does not, like I have a support line in there that I'm just not taking the long off of because I'm biased against Intel right now, which seems like a ridiculous thing. We keep making fresh lows, and it keeps not breaking $20.65, which I had marked off a week ago. So if another press down in and the market decides to bounce, I should just be long this stock. Bias be darned, I should say. If this is a level, then I should just be long off this level and then trust the support that we have on Intel. I'm trying to pick up some 70s, but right now it's Peloton going for me. I guess Intel at this point looks like a long off 2065.
Yeah, so good move there, turning. Again, that's what it's all about, right? Turning a stock from red to green. So stay with it. Sharif always talks about that. Do not let those stocks off the hook. So good job there with Peloton for Neil. All right, so we actually got green on NVIDIA there, and then it broke 128. And now I flipped over to just a little bit of a bias short finally, as NVIDIA is now red on the day. So it broke through that 128. Look, I'm just going to try to give this to 128.50, like the 50-period moving average is 70s. I just want to see if we can break back above. Look, we hit the long made money. Breaks, basically didn't lose anything on the break. We got long at 20s there, then 05s. We hit that 05 long, which was awesome. I think we might have even got 03s, that we got 05s. And we hit that back into the 40s. But now I've had enough, and we're going to go short. So look at this, flip over into the short right now. So we are short 15s now on this name. I'll put a bid at 07, see if we get that just for 5% of the trade, see if it comes back in. And yeah, to Neil's, I saw what Hans was saying there. Yeah, This is what it is, man. I've been really obsessed with NVIDIA for a while, and it's been good. We've been making good money on it, so we're going to stay with it and see if it will work out for us for now. If it doesn't and it drops down, man, and that goes up and drops out of our account, then we'll be out of NVIDIA. But we just saw it go into the money and then rips right back up. It's a tale of the futures, right? If the futures go, then we'll be fine. But if the futures rip, then we will not. So let's see what happens right now. We're short now at 21s. Let's see if we get a couple better fills on the downside if it goes. Our stop is 128.50. So, I mean, we're temporarily out of this trade right now, but hopefully with a little bit of a dip in the futures, maybe this name retraces just a bit more. But again, because we already said this has juice behind it, upgraded today. We like the long. We're just going to try to see if temporarily this market stays underneath and we can get a little bit of a dip. As I talk about it, it's getting worse and worse. We're out right now 10 cents.
So Faraday opens back up. It tried to dump and didn't. I mean, it went down like 40 cents, which is significant, but it didn't actually halt down or dump down into VWAP or dump down into $5. So the play here for me is stop, break high, stop, breakout high, and then put a stop underneath.
This is what we need the other way.
Stop underneath the halt price. So if it breaks a fresh high, I want to put my stop underneath that halt price, which is about that 540 level. So right in here. So that's the break. That's the stop. If it fails the breakout, my out, there's no good levels. I'm not holding it to $5, so I want to give it to that hull price just in case it wants to go. There's no news here or anything like that. But if it just wants to squeeze, I don't care about the fundamentals of it, at least for the day trade. I'm not advocating anybody actually invest in this company, Faraday. I don't really know much about them. You're going to have to ask Randy about Faraday. No, I'm being dead honest. I know that they make AVs. No, it's just true. Like, I know they make AVs. That's what they do. But it's squeezing post-split and broke out a post-split high, which sometimes on a lower float means it's going to have a continuation. My stop is relatively risking 25 cents depending on slippage. I'm long at 61. My stop's under 40. Might be a couple of pennies worth of slippage. I'm not offering yet. I'd like to see it push through the highs and find a level. So if I didn't get the halt price here for the long, which probably wouldn't have been that good anyways, then I just want to give it to that level, and we'll see what happens with Faraday. It's challenging underneath. There it goes. We tried the breakout on Faraday. No dice for that one. We'll slap an L on it. If I trade it again, VWAP, 5, or fresh high. Something along those lines with Faraday. Rivian, nothing going on with Rivian. Go back over what was happening in Intel. So Intel's still bouncing off that support level. This is a lesson. The lesson of the day probably should just be you can never be too biased against a stock. Yeah. Because if you're biased, if you have too much of a negative view on a stock or a company, then it'll go to a level that you like and you won't go long if you think it's a short. If you think a stock is weak, you'll do something like I just did on Intel, where I just watched it bounce off the level that I charted for support weeks ago, or at least a week ago, breakout, now support. That's the level right in here at that 65, and it's bouncing right off of it. I don't want to chase the move, but I'm still trying to get a bit of a dip buy here on Intel, down this 3%, guys. That's what you got to be able to do is switch gears, right? Yeah. Switch gears from being short biased to a long present itself and just take the long. I'm not there just yet. Nobody's going to be perfect, but Intel was a screaming buy at 2065. I just wanted no part of it for some reason. I know what's up. Chill Vibe saying Microsoft's a short. I haven't looked at Microsoft since the open. I was focused on Meta, which wasn't setting up anymore. Softy, why do I like 421? Why do I like 421 on Microsoft? Oh, yeah, that's why.
All right, we're...
I'm a short down here at this low. Not for me, not for me.
Yeah, we... So Neil was just talking about basically what I was going to talk about is switching up, and we probably switched up our bias a little too early on NVIDIA. We tried to short it. We shorted into the 50-period moving average. We got stopped out when it broke 50, but then we were like, you know what? We're still here right now. Let's see if this wants to come back in. So now we're short again on NVIDIA against that 50-period moving average and just starting to take some out, man, on this play. So again, great to be able to flip it up and change up your mind, but you got to make sure it's at the right spots. We just took some out. We're short 64s, man. We just got 44s. We're going to give this to 75. Some of these levels right into there. That gets its 80s. Well, where is my stop exactly? Was actually breaking through 70s there. So I just didn't want to, I put on more shares. I didn't want to take a risk too much. So this was, although my stop is only going to be 10 cents, it was really much more risk than that because we had already lost going up there one time. So now we're going to try to get a little bit back. We just took some 45s. There we go, got some 42s. Hopefully this will drop back in and give us that winner that we're hoping for on NVIDIA if the market comes. We're at 34s right now on NVIDIA. I'm going to bid at 37s. And this is, again, you get run over when you take more shares, but we wanted to stay short here on this name. We found the 50 period finally and took it. So here it comes right back in. So far, so good. Come on, NVIDIA. Bring the pain back to the downside. Wow. We just entered it too early, but it looks like it wants to work. Our stop is 70 and it's 11 o'clock. So yeah, Disney, we only have 10. I'll just review this quickly. Disney, we only have 10% left. We got that fill that we wanted. Every one of these fills was basically 10% with a lot out right here at 70, a bunch out. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, probably 30 more percent there, 10 and 10 more left. There goes NVIDIA right back to flat. So here we go, man. This trade is wild today.
Yeah, the trade is definitely wild. We have to get to the midday, guys, but one last thing quickly. Meta just broke back out above that channel that I like. Looks like it could be a VWAP hold. I'm looking for some confirmation with, man, that VIX doesn't want to break that support level. I was kind of hoping those two would line up here. So if it holds this VWAP, Meta's the thing I like for a long, if it isn't that absolute bottom on Intel. But it is 11 o'clock, everybody. Good luck out there. It's been a very whippy morning, so stick to your plan, stick to the key levels, stay calm and collected, get your learn on with the professor and Adara. Go get them.
Go get them.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to